Chris Avalon Unfiltered, bitch.
Hey y'all, welcome and happy Monday. It's your boy Chris Avalon, and welcome to a brand new episode of Chris Avalon Unfiltered, a show where we basically talk about all things going on in celebrity news, pop culture, and gossip, and things of that nature. We also talk movie news, music news, whatever's going on in the world of entertainment. We chat about it on this show. So that's a show for you. Definitely stick around because we have a lot of tea to spill today, including we have some Silent Night, Deadly Night remake news. There's also a lot of movies coming out of the Warner Brothers cabinet that are a lot of remakes. So we're going to talk about that. Plus, Charlie XCX is being dragged over her little shade that she threw at Green Day during the Coachella after party. We're going to talk about the BeyHive is upset over Benson Boone. They're talking about that his album cover is a bit hypocritical, whereas y'all were trying to go in on the Cowboy Carter album and y'all was questioning her, but you're not questioning him over his antics. So we're going to talk about that. Plus, Kanye out here, out in his mama saying she was a big old bulldog and she was out here eating her babysitter's box or vice versa. They probably was doing it on each other. So we're going to talk about that. Plus, we have some news about that Bronx woman who punched a pro-life instigator. I'm sure y'all seen the videos that went viral in the past, what was it, a couple of days, where this girl was antagonizing this other chick, and she decided to not be demure and mindful in her behavior, and went in and slapped it to the beat. So we're going to talk about that. Plus, Patrick McDonald, who, we did a story on him the other day. He apparently did an interview with Bethany Frankel where he was talking about all the, stuff that was going on behind the scenes at Bravo and reality TV and all the drama and stuff. So we're going to get into that. We got a couple of clips that I want to play y'all in regards to that whole situation. Plus, we got to talk about Mickey Rourke getting kicked off the Big Brother UK for being a mess. And we got to talk about that lip sync Lollapalooza SmackDown that went on this past Friday over at the RuPaul's Drag Race. So we got to talk about that and a whole lot more. So yeah, there's not a lot going on, but I just thought those were like the more interesting topics. So before we get to those topics, if you can please do me a solid and hit that like button and that subscribe button. Also be sure to smash the notification bell, which I just got a comment from somebody that said that they're not getting the notification. So I don't know what the hell's going on with YouTube. Like at one point, my numbers was going crazy in the beginning of the year. Now all of a sudden we in April and y'all playing in my face and messing with my coins, YouTube. So get it together over there. You may have to unsubscribe and resubscribe. I don't know, or unclick the bell and then click the bell back. So it's a mess, but I did see like the subscribers is going up, but not by much. I don't know. So there's a lot going on with YouTube. This is why y'all got me really entertaining the idea of a Patreon because y'all still playing in my face. But before we get to, I see we do have a comment before I get to the comments. Let me hit my banner. I'll get to my first topic and then I'll get to the comments right after. So let's get right into some horror movie things. And let's talk about Rohan Campbell, who y'all know, played in Halloween Ends, which has divided a lot of the horror movie genre fans, particularly Halloween movie fans, were pretty much divided over the whole Corey Cunningham, Michael Myers story and how David Gordon Green handled that whole situation. Whereas y'all gave us a trilogy, the trilogy was working in some sort of ways we loved. I'll speak for me. I loved Halloween 2018. I can't speak for everybody else. I liked Halloween 2018 and what they did to that, made it a direct sequel to the original Halloween and sort of retcon all the stuff regarding Michael Myers being Laurie Strode's sibling. And they retcon all that and just made it like, he was the shape. He just wanted to kill because, he was out. He felt like it. He locked eyes on her and her friends and basically just went in and let have. And I kind of like that whole idea of just like, he is just pure bona fide evil. And so we got Halloween Kills, which is sort of like the Empire Strikes Back of the franchise, where everybody was just like, okay, he's basically just cutting and hacking through and maiming and murdering everybody that got in his way. He basically was trying to get home, and anybody who stepped in his way, he was going to basically take them out. And Evil Dies Tonight and all that other mess. Then we get to the third one where it's like, okay, now he done killed Laurie's daughter, Karen. We thought that Laurie was going to seek revenge. It was like going to literally turn into Linda Hamilton, which I was hoping that we was going to kind of get that. But they scaled it back, threw her back in the hospital in part 2, which was annoying. And then we get to part 3, and it's sort of like she's writing a novel. She's living her best life. Her niece is living with her. She's about to hunch the sheriff bracket. No, it wasn't sheriff bracket. She was trying to Sheriff Brackett was the one. He got killed in part two. Remember Sheriff Brackett from back in the day? He actually was a security guard in the hospital and partook in that whole situation, which ended up him getting killed. But then we had the other guy, um, who she was messing around with and going back and forth on whether or not he was in a relationship. Then they brought in this Corey Cunningham character, which I thought was a relatively interesting story. However, I did not feel that the Corey Cunningham story fit within the Halloween trilogy. If you're going to make an original Halloween story that was sort of like adjacent to the Halloween universe, then that would have worked. But to try to throw that up in there because y'all clearly ran out of damn ideas in this whole situation, and you just trying to fill a quota for the studio. That's why I think it rubbed people a lot of the wrong way. I personally like the film individually, but as part of the trilogy, it was a chop. So now comes word that Corey Cunningham himself, the actor that played him, Rohan Campbell, is set to play another iconic character. Well, his character was completely made up, but he's about to play star in the remake of Silent Night, Deadly Night. Which, if you knew from that film back in the day, first of all, I was like an infant when that movie came out. So I don't even remember all the controversy surrounding it, but I did hear that there was so much controversy around the film that they wanted to ban from theaters because of the subject matter. The movie is actually, you can't even like watch it on any of the streaming services. Like the movie is only available if you buy it. Or you actually have to rent it digitally, but I think there is you can buy it physically if you look hard enough, because I think they finally made it available. But I'm actually hoping that they make it available to purchase digitally as well. So Cineverse, who is behind the Terrifier franchise, is the ones that are actually producing Silent Night, Deadly Night. And according to Bloody and Disgusting, Rohan, who starred in Halloween Ends, as I said, in The Monkey, is going to play Billy Chapman. Hey, it's me, Billy. So the naughty will be punished in Cineverse and Bloody Disgusting's upcoming Silent Night, Deadly Night. And of course, they have the exclusive because Bloody Disgusting is behind Cineverse and they're big. They're also behind Terrifier. So they produce lots of, they also have Screambox. That's a Bloody Disgusting, production type digital movie service. There's a lot of terrible movies on there compared to Shudder. A lot of y'all movies, I love you, Bloody Disgusting. I like your exclusive. I like that y'all cover our movies, but a lot of y'all content is pretty bad. So now Bloody Disgusting is reporting, and they reported this today. And they said that he also starred in Osgood Perkins' The Monkey. I have not seen that movie, although I did see that it's available via digital download. So like if you go on Amazon Prime Video, you could actually rent the movie or you could buy it. And so that's out there. So they said he also appeared in, I haven't seen Snowpiercer in years, so I wouldn't even remember him. I probably have to watch that movie and probably like, I would remember him in that. But he also, he's appeared in Snowpiercer, iZombie, and Supernatural. Well, he is Canadian, so it makes sense that he would appear in an episode of Supernatural. Now, Robert Brian Wilson played the original Silent Night, Deadly Night killer. And basically, it is about he's going to play the guy that's in the Santa suit that has experienced a traumatic situation, dresses up as Santa, and goes on this killing spree. Now, I'm wondering if they're actually going to take inspiration from the original movie and be very crazy with the brutal kills and all that other stuff. So I'm really hoping that they really push it because back in the day, the movie was so damn controversial. I'm wondering if they're going to actually up the ante and not kind of kowtow in the corner or whatever. I don't think they'll do that because if they could be as controversial as the stuff that we've seen in them Terrifier movies, then I think that we're basically, us horror fans are in, or gore hounds as we can call ourselves, are in for a treat. So they said a reimagining of director Charles E. Sellier's original 1984 slasher classic centers on a young boy who witnesses the murder of his parents at the hands of a man dressed as Santa, only to grow up to become the killer himself. Now, haunted by trauma and fueled by a twisted sense of justice, he puts on the Santa suit and punishes the naughty. Now, they said blending psychological horror, brutal slasher thrills, and a touch of the supernatural, and shockingly a sprinkle of romance, the new film hopes to deliver a modern new take on the ultimate holiday nightmare. And I don't know if it's just me, but it kind of feels like the reason why they chose Rohan is because they saw the potential of what he brought with the Corey Cunningham character in Halloween Ends. And now they're like, you know what? This actor is perfect for the movie that we want to do because we feel that we can execute what that David Gordon Green tried to do when Halloween Ends better than what he did in that movie. Because I felt like there was so much potential with his character in that film. I just feel like David Gordon Green just failed to deliver on what he tried to deliver with that film. And I think that's why people are so divided in regards of Halloween Ends. But I feel like you can incorporate all those things. I'm like, you know what? I definitely can see what we can do with him in this film or with this film. And that's why I think that they cast him. And I think he's perfect for it. And I feel like he can deliver based off if the script is good, what the movie is looking for. So the reboot is being written and directed by Mike P. Nelson, who directed Wrong Turn. I wonder if it's the recent Wrong Turn, or is it? I don't know. Or if it's the original one with Eliza Dushku. I'm going to go on a limb and say that I think it's the recent one that came out, which I actually like. I know that movie is underrated, and a lot of people, people don't talk about it enough. But the Wrong Turn remake, I actually thought was pretty good. And VHS, I like. Some of them were hit and miss, but I did like VHS 1985. And he produced the original 1984 TriStar film. Oh, they said, and it's being produced by original 1984 TriStar Films producers Scott Schneid and Dennis Whitehead. And New Dimensions, Jamie R. Thompson. So they talk about all the people that's producing it, which I'm sure that these are names they are not familiar with and probably don't care. So we need to go through it. So I say overall, I'm looking forward to seeing it. I'm definitely looking forward to seeing a trailer for it. I don't know if they've started filming yet, or I'm guessing they're on their way to start filming it because this movie has to be out by this year, December 2025. Like it has to be out by the end of the year. And it does not take long to film a horror movie. So they need like maybe a month and a half. If it's going to be practical and stuff, I'm sure they had all the practical props and stuff pretty much ready, similar to like Terrifier. I hope that Damien Leone has helped out a bit with the practical effects, or they have like a pretty good team of people that are pretty good with the practical stuff. So I'm looking forward to seeing the film. I'm definitely excited to see Rohan a part of this, and so I want to hear from you all. What do you guys think of this latest news regarding the story that Rohan Campbell from Halloween Ends fame is set to play the killer Billy in the Silent Night Deadly Night remake for Cinemark, which is the house. I mean, the people. Oh, Cineverse. I said Cinemark. Cinemark's a movie theater. Cineverse. Who are behind the Terrifier franchise. So, whatever your thoughts are on this matter, let me know in the comments down below. All right. It said, hello, did you read like the article I shared about how the Little Monsters anti-Madonna campaign was deemed racist? Yeah, the Little Monsters are whatever. They're annoying. Um, and another thing I want to say on that, in regards to like the whole thing, because I saw a lot of people were comparing not only a lot of what they saw from Gagachella to stuff that Madonna has done, like the scene when she's screaming in her former self's face. They said that she took that from the She's Not Me segment on what was that, the Sticky and Sweet tour? So there was similarities there, and it's funny. My brain did switch to that, but I was like, okay, whatever. This is her interpretation. Have at it. Then there were people saying that she took a lot from Marilyn Manson with the whole crutches situation. Marilyn Manson did that back in the day when what it was like the Antichrist Superstar era. So there was a lot of so it's like she took things from other people and just kind of put her own spin on it. So yeah, the whole crutches thing, and I'd be like, no, she did that in Paparazzi, and I'm like, but Marilyn Manson did that before Paparazzi, so it doesn't matter when she did it. The fact of the matter was Manson did it also. And so there were things in there. But I said, and another thing that I found that was irritating me, that people were trying to compare, oh, her performance was better than what Beyonce did with Baychella. And it's like Gagachella and Baychella, yes, both were iconic in their own ways. However, what people need to realize is there's differences with what the two did. What Lady Gaga was doing was sort of like theater. Like I literally felt like I was watching a theatrical experience, like something that I paid money to go see on Broadway. That's what I felt like when I was watching Gagachella. Now with Beyonce, there's cultural significance in what she brought to the table, the HBCU type stuff, things that's going on in regards of Black history and our cultural significance within the world of, colleges and the music and a lot of the nuances that went into that. So there was a lot that Beyonce brought to the table that was all about the culture and Black culture specifically, whereas Gaga was doing things where it was looking back on things that she did in the past, but also bringing high fashion and art to the actual concert experience. So I don't know. It could be. They said my content is too explicit and homosexual for YouTube, which I guess they're suppressing gay content, aka they've been the needs of the administration. It could be that, but also, um, but I see other people that post queer content and their stuff is not. Look, I just posted a video for a porn star who passed away, the one that we did that story. I did it as an individual video. It's the numbers already going up. So it depends on the situation. I don't know. It's just it could be suppressing the content. Random question: whatever happened to Nev Campbell's brother Christian? That is true. Whatever happened to him? I haven't seen him in anything in a while. Although I will say this: the last time I did see Christian in something was a movie with his sister where they play like I think Amish people, and it was a Lifetime movie. But that was like last year. So I don't know. Maybe he's doing straight to network or cable TV movies of the week type stuff. I think that's what he's been up to. He said you have it on Blu-ray via. That's what was Scream Factory pretty much has the movie. So, allegedly due to the low of the controversy and Sony abandoning it, the owners wanted on physical only to make the profit they lost. Okay, so I guess the only way that people can get it is through physical media. So they want people to buy it, and a lot of people don't have physical machines to play the physical media on. Although I do because I have a PS5, so my PlayStation 5 I can play DVDs and stuff on it. So it's not that upset. Like I can buy physical media and it's not a problem. But definitely I would love to get a physical copy of the movie or have it in my person so that way when the movie comes out. And I'm sure they're probably, when Silent Night, Deadly Night, the remake comes out, I'm wondering if they're going to try to put some type of negotiation where they could at least get it a deal or something to play it on a streaming service like a Shudder or a Screenbox or something like that. I don't know. Hopefully they can come up with something like that because I'm sure a lot of people would want to revisit the original movie. Okay, so now let's move on and let's talk about this situation. So we got a lot of new movies. It's like My Damn Childhood is coming back. So it's like a lot of movies from the 80s and 90s are getting sequels or remakes and things of that nature. So Mike DeLuca and Pam Abdi, who there have been rumors that they're on the outs because a lot of their movies have not been making a lot of money. And unfortunately, I'm just hoping that that story is not true because here's the thing. A lot of the movies they've been releasing as of late have been pretty good. The problem is because they're taking a lot of risks. Like they came with, I think, Companion. There was, Foley I do. We could just score. That was a big mistake. They should have went with that. But there was a lot of movies that have been coming out of the Warner Brothers lot that have been pretty good. The only problem is they have not been accumulating a lot of money. But I feel like there's going to be a bit of a turnaround. Fingers crossed that Sinners, which is a Warner Brothers film that's coming out this week and is getting rave reviews, is getting 100% from a lot of the critics and things of that nature. And everybody that I know that have seen it has high praise for this film. And I definitely want to see it. So I'm going to definitely have to buy my ticket and go check it out this week. That one, and I still want to see Drop. I'm wondering how well Drop did at the box office. I have no idea off the top of my head, but Pam Abdi and Mike DeLuca are basically opening up, and they're talking about that we're getting a lot of new movies that are coming out, and they're revisit like I think like a reboot of Gremlins. We're also getting a new Matrix, which I did talk to y'all about not too long ago. We're also getting The Goonies, a sequel, finally. Although I was a little apprehensive about it back in the day. I was like, don't touch my Goonies, because that is like one of my all-time favorite movies growing up as a kid. However, if you do have an interesting idea, I'm just like, look, if it sucks, because sometimes things are inevitable. I don't cry over spilled milk. I just wipe it up. So if a movie sucks, at least I can go back and enjoy the other films. And we definitely need, I feel like now more than ever in this era in which we're living in, we're definitely in the damn Matrix. So we definitely need a reboot or a new idea of the Matrix, because I feel like the Wachowskis shot their wad with the original film. Matrix Reloaded had really cool action sequences and things of that nature. And I like how they pushed the boundaries in regards of like special effects and stunts and action sequences. Doing all that was cool. The story was a little too heavy handed for me. Revolutions, I was like, oh, so we're just gonna get a 2.5 hour movie of Zion going to war. I was so bored with that movie, but overall it had its moments that I enjoyed. But I particularly enjoyed when they had like the cool costumes and the gunfighting and or gun food that they had, which we saw later on in the John Wick franchise, and the crazy wire work and the cool martial art fight sequences. I was looking for all of that, and I want more of that. And I'm hoping that Drew Goddard, who is producing and writing and directing the new movie, we'll explore more of that. So yeah, so they sat down for a lengthy interview. I'm not going through the whole interview because we'll be here all day with that. If you want to check it out, I did link it on my website and the link to Deadline's full article with them. But yeah, they said that they were pretty excited about Amblin developing with Chris Columbus new entries in the Gremlins and Goonies franchises. And Gremlins was crazy. I remember when Gremlins first, I don't know if it when it first came out or it was years later. But I do remember when I went to camp, me and my sister did the whole fresh air fun thing where it was like you get to go stay with different people. So we went upstate and we got to stay with like 3 different people. This one girl, she had like a waterbed, and her boyfriend, he had a truck, whatever. And me and my sister, well, we used to sneak when they wasn't in the house. We used to jump on the waterbed because I'd never been on one. And waterbeds back in those days was like a big thing. They're freaking annoying now that I look back on it. But it was such an icon because I'm like, I ain't never seen that like that before. And so that was my first time with this girl. I can't remember what her name was, but that was the first time we got to experience going to a drive-in movie theater. And 2 of the movies that we got to see was Twilight Zone the movie. Because I think they just showed like random movies and stuff, even if it wasn't the year that they came out. So we saw Twilight Zone the movie, and then it was like a double feature. And then I remember seeing The Gremlins, the first one, obviously, and sitting in a truck in my pajamas, and my sister had pajamas on too, eating popcorn and drinking and eating candy and all this other stuff and watching this movie. It was like a real iconic experience because it was like I never experienced in, being in a drive-in movie theater, especially when you're a city kid. Like, where they got drive-in movie theaters? So you had to go to like the, upstate or like smaller towns and all other stuff to experience that. So, Christopher Columbus was, of course, the writer of the original Gremlins. So they're saying, so, with him coming back, I do have faith that we're going to actually get a good movie out of this. And I love that movie. That's like one of my all-time favorite movies. I watch it every Christmas. Mrs. Beagle was a pain in the ass. Shout out to Polly Holiday. May she rest in peace. But that was, her plan, the mean lady in town that she was always going after, Zach Galligan and his dog. It felt very much like she was the Wicked Witch of the West in, from the Wizard of Oz. Sidebar, I finally got around. Speaking of one, no, that's Universal. I was like, speaking of which, I finally got around to watching Wicked. I actually liked it. Can't wait for part 2. But anyway, I just wanted to say that. Now they also said that we're getting a sequel to Beetlejuice. So what they gonna call? Oh, well, obviously Beetlejuice. Duh, that would be the name that they would call it. Don't throw tomatoes at me, but I still haven't seen Beetlejuice, so I don't even know if a sequel is warranted. I don't even know if, what happens to Jenna Ortega's character. So it's like her talking about she don't want to do pre-existing IPs and sequels and things. My question is she going to do Beetlejuice? If there is anything more to do with her character. So I don't know. That'll be interesting to hear if she does come back for that. As far as the Matrix, like I said, I would definitely want to see that. I want to see Minecraft. I'm going to wait until that comes out on like streaming or whatever the case is, or maybe even like I'll rent it when it comes out on digital. But I've heard so many crazy things going on with Minecraft that they're talking about that people are literally being rowdy. They're assaulting like the ushers and stuff, and like people just don't know how to act. It's like, what are y'all doing? Like, I don't understand how this movie of all films, which I've heard has already grossed like $1 billion at the box office in 2 weeks worldwide. Which is crazy. How this film of all films is like what people looking at is like, yeah, this is the $1 billion movie, the box office. I'm still like, that still blows my mind. But not only are the people acting rowdy in there, I saw a video, and I wish this was a lie, where someone literally set off fireworks in the movie theater for Minecraft. Now I'm surprised the sprinklers didn't go off where everybody got wet. But my thing would be this: whoever the culprit was, they should have been locked up. They should have been locked up for what they did. But I do think that's crazy. But one of the things that I found remotely interesting from the article, because they did mention about the whole was it Christopher Nolan thing where they did the whole day and date and that whole situation, how they messed that up in regards of like releasing the movie day and date. But I don't know if it was them or if it was under the last regime that were working at Warner Brothers. Sidebar: did y'all also hear that David Zaslav got himself a big old bonus while everybody else is over there struggling behind the scenes? So y'all still over there doing that whole kickback mess? So yeah, but in regards of that, one of the articles where they were talking about the Big Tent, films have been matched with library IP because they were talking about that it was important what they liked was with Christopher Nolan, the whole Dark Knight thing, how they matched up directors with an IP that they think they can really score them, I guess, a hit or give the genre a much needed boost. Like we had, like I said, with Christopher Nolan with The Dark Knight, or you have Denis Villeneuve with the Dune franchise, or you had Margot Robbie, who also is still working with Warner Brothers on an interesting idea, and we'll get to that in a second. Or you have Margot Robbie with the Barbie franchise because she did produce that. So they mentioned that. So DeLuca mentions that, yeah, Drew Goddard is writing and directing The Matrix. Margot Robbie, Ryan Gosling, and Jay Roach are working on an Ocean's 11 prequel. I also saw that Ryan Gosling's wife, Eva Mendes, mentioned that Ryan Gosling had something to do with a hand in. Wasn't just only him, but he had a hand in getting this stunt category pushed into the Oscars, which we'll finally see when the Oscars turns 100 in 2028. Which I think is actually pretty good that we're finally going to get that they're getting their justice with the stunts, because for a long time we've always said that stunts should be incorporated in the whole Oscars thing, but they need to figure out how they can make that work, because there's a lot of stunts that should be acknowledged. Just like y'all acknowledge hair, makeup, and special effects and all this other stuff, you should acknowledge the stunt crews and things as well, because a lot goes into that. And so they also mentioned that Matt Reeves is a producer working with Marvel's Werewolf by Night director Michael Giacchino on a remake of their library titled Them. Is that the one about the giant bugs, like them with the big ants? That might be actually a good thing to see if they could try to bring that into this generation. And then Andy Serkis is directing a Gollum movie, and they said there's other films that they can't talk about, but I do feel like those are some interesting ideas. So I'm genuinely interested in seeing an Ocean's 11 prequel with a new cast. I'm definitely interested in seeing what Drew Goddard could bring to The Matrix, because Drew Goddard, in my opinion, I don't know if people are really familiar with a lot of what he has been behind. But a lot of the stuff that he's done, I like. First of all, he directed Bad Times at El Royale. He directed The Cabin in the Woods. I love that freaking movie. It's such a genre film. He also directed Spider-Man Homecoming. He also was behind, the High Potential series, which I'm hearing is getting great reviews. I still haven't gotten around to watching that. He did Cloverfield. He did The Martian. I think it was supposed to be behind the whole Sinister Six thing, but that never popped off. I believe also that he's also written episodes of Buffy the Vampire Slayer and Supernatural. So if you are a genre fan, you definitely know that Drew Goddard is that dude, and he's immensely talented. And I'm glad that if there's going to be somebody that can shed a new light and breathe new life into the Matrix franchise, it would be him, because like I said, I think the Wachowskis had a great idea with the first Matrix. I think that Warner Brothers was so happy that this movie just became this big phenomenon at the time, that there was like, we want more. And I don't know if they had any interesting ideas where they wanted to create a trilogy, but I'm definitely interested in seeing what he's going to bring with this franchise, and if we're going to get a new Neo, because remember, there's been 6 different versions of Neo. And does Keanu Reeves need to come back? No, I think you could reboot the franchise with a new Neo. But I don't know if, like I said, I can't see if Keanu Reeves will want to come back, especially when he's getting up there in age. and he's got to do another John Wick, and you know how physically demanding that part can be. And him having to do all the wire fu and stuff, I don't know. Maybe they could find somebody else that they could bring into that franchise. Who, I have no idea, but they'll have to find a new Neo. Or maybe not even a new Neo. Maybe they can come up with a new character or a new Resistance or something of that nature. So I want to hear from you guys. What do you think of this story in regards of, are you here for a new Beetlejuice, a new Matrix movie, a new Gremlins movie, or a new Goonies movie? And all the other films that they were talking about is in development. Me personally, like I said, I'm curious to see what they're going to bring with those franchises, because the Gremlins, Goonies, that's all my childhood. Beetlejuice, I love the original movie. Still haven't gotten around to seeing the new one, even though it is available on, what is it? HBO Max, I think it's on. So it's available. I just haven't gotten around to it. I just started catching up on movies. Like I finally got around to watching, like I told y'all, I finally got around to watching Wicked, which I liked. I saw Nosferatu, was bored to death watching that. Atmospheric wise, cinematography, everything was perfect. Loved the overall aesthetic of the film. Robert Eggers, you bored me to death watching that damn film. I nodded off quite a few times with that movie. And then the ending was so, like, really, that's it? Like, that's how y'all killed him? Like, I was so underwhelmed by the third act and the ending. Aaron Taylor Johnson, it literally took me half that movie to realize that was him and wanted to see in the film. So aesthetically, acting wise, was great. Movie was I was a little underwhelmed by it. But I do want to get around to watching Beetlejuice. I'll try to see if I can get around to that this week. But anyway, enough of that. I want to hear from you all. Let me know what your thoughts are on this in the comments down below. Okay, so let me close some of these windows. I was like, why aren't you closing? Let's see what the people are saying. Not the Gooners. Oh no, that's something different, Chad. Not the Gooners. First of all, I hate that whole Gooner face thing. Like, I just think that is so stupid. When they like they stick the tongue out, and I was like, really? Y'all keep inhaling them poppers while y'all beating y'all meat. You gonna bust a vessel in your brain. Anyway. He said the guy who directed The Howling and other R-rated movies directed Gremlins. Oh yeah, Joe Dante. But Chris Columbus wrote the script. I'm a fan of Joe Dante. First of all, and I've had this conversation on social media. I'm like, is it blasphemous to say that I like The Howling way more than I like American Werewolf in London? I love both movies. They're great werewolf films. I remember one time I showed my roommate that film, American Werewolf in London. He didn't like it. I guess because it was just too much on the the comedic tone to it. I just think he didn't like the overall tone of that film. But I just love the practical, werewolf effects. But The Howling is way better because it's scarier and it's a much dark, visceral type of movie. So I like that one. But yeah, and I love the Gremlins, as y'all know. I'm surprised The Matrix is getting a sequel. I honestly saw it because Brian J. Smith was in it. I want more gays in action movies. I do like Brian J. Smith. Whatever happened to him? Yeah, we definitely need more. Well, it was a lot of homosexuals in that movie. They had Neil Patrick Harris was another one. And oh my God, who was the other one that was in Looking? Jonathan Groff. He was in that too. So they had 3 gays up in that damn movie that we know of. I'm sure there's probably more. But yeah, there was a lot of homosexuals running around that film. But I was thinking, like, you know what? Because I guess maybe you're surprised because that Resurrection movie was so bad. And you know what? I understand, Lawrence Fishburne, that you said you did offer your services, and they kind of were just like, "No, be good," which I think is ultimately disrespectful. But then you bring Neo and Trinity back. Their storyline was just dumb in that film, and then you replace Morpheus with Yahya Abdul-Mateen II, which, yes, they favor each other, and yes, he's a younger version. Maybe they didn't bring Lawrence Fishburne back because, no shade, but you was out of shape around that time when that movie was going around. It was like you was big, even though I seen you recently on The View, and you slimmed down a lot. Him and he probably went on that Vincent D'Onofrio diet, but he lost a lot of weight. But yeah, you look like you ate the Matrix with all that extra weight that you had on. So that's probably why they didn't want to put you in the film. But who knows? Maybe they'll bring you back in the new one. Sure don't. And it's mainly the 8. Google Drew Goddard. He did 10 Cloverfield Lane, Cabin in the Woods, and The Martian. That's why I say he did so many great movies. Like, the man is talented. Plus, I told her he wrote episodes of Buffy the Vampire Slayer and Supernatural. So if you're a genre fan, like TV, movie, all this stuff, he's definitely talented. So I know, like, that's why I'm not that upset he's going to make a movie. Yes, he was. He said didn't care for Nosferatu either. But I like Robert Eggers because I like the other movie he did. What was the one he did with Anya Taylor-Joy? Where it was like and then they were like, were they like Amish people or something or another? He did that. I know he did that movie. I can't remember the name of it. The Witch. I like that movie. Now that was a good one. I just didn't like Nosferatu. I mean, he did. So you ate the Matrix. That is one of the topics that we're going to be talking about later. Oh damn! What is it? They said this whole BeyHive versus Boomers is so petty and annoying. Y'all mad at a You watching the show? Because I'm getting a message. They said, you mad at an album cover? Yeah, the BeyHive need to pay more attention to Kanye attacking they fave. The BeyHive are a bunch of bums. Yeah, that's true. It's like, where's that energy where Kanye out here talking all that mess about Beyonce, talking about her and Jay's sex life and all this other mess, but y'all mad about Benson Boone album cover and the hypocrisy around that. But we're going to get to that story. Uh, But you said it's not his fault the world changed and made the way he thinks. So they're feeling like, oh well, that because he's old, he's set in his ways, and he should be able to get up in people's face with threats or to make homophobic comments or whatever. It's like, yeah, the conversation. Look, if somebody's gonna say something inappropriate or vulgar, there needs to be that conflict where y'all going back and forth in that whole situation and try to work it out. Although now I'm of two minds about it because when I get to that story about Patrick McDonald doing the interview with Bethany Frankel, maybe y'all see things differently, especially in the way it's like they push conflict with a lot of the people that were on the show and then the people that hold the cameras and stuff. Although when you look at somebody Big Brother or Big Brother in general, they don't have a lot of the camera people walking around with the cameras 24/7. They actually have cameras hanging around that to capture everything. But I'm sure that you have people working around the clock that's okay, go to this shot and then, picking that one, all that other stuff. So this is what they want to do. That was the decision they made. But anyway, let's move on, y'all. And since we was talking about music a little bit, we was talking about Beyonce, but let's get into Charlie XCX, who's getting dragged on social media because of her little her little sash that she was wearing, where it said Miss should be headliner. It took me like 4 times to read that. I'm like, what? That don't make no damn sense. But I got what you were meaning behind it because she felt like she should have headlined Coachella instead of Green Day, which I vehemently disagree because Charlie, you still give the same dry ass bare minimum style performance that you've been doing. I felt like you just gave us the sweat tour just at Coachella because you brought out the same damn people you normally bring out. You brought out Lord, which you brought her out in the New York at MSG. You brought out Troye Sivan, which Troye Sivan co-headlined with you at the Sweat Tour. The only difference was you had Billie Eilish up there, which when Billie Eilish was doing her tour, which I love, by the way, she basically had you on the screen doing your bit for the guest remix, and then she jumped in and kind of just did her little thing on the show. I mean, in her show. But y'all being on stage together was just, I guess, the creme de la creme. So she is getting backlash from people all over social media for what she wore at at a Coachella after party. So the singer, who's 32, who brought Brat to the California Festival, carried on the party following her 7:15 p.m. performance. Damn, they was real specific about the time on the Coachella stage. But as she danced the night away behind the DJ deck, Charlie turned heads with the accessory, leading some to believe she had gotten too big for her britches. Now, while Charlie, whose real name is Charlotte Aitchison, really, y'all had to go in there with the whole government, starred on the main stage, it was Green Day who has won 90. Oh, damn, they won 96 awards? They said they won 96 awards and nominated for 218, who headlined. Well, First of all, Green Day been making music before Miss Charlotte was even a thought in her parents', nether regions. And um they're way older than her. Like they're in their 50s. She's 32. So of course they're gonna headline. And I work both their shows. So I'm gonna give my opinion on the matter in regards to what I think in a second. But let's continue. So it said, and it appears that the decision has ruffled some feathers as she made the message clear that when she posed for the picture wearing a skimpy white dress. Now, after the picture of her sticking her tongue out and putting her sash on full display, music lovers were sent into a frenzy. So yeah, there's her on stage, during her regular show. Now taking to Twitter. The singer said one summer album and the singer said one summer album, these girls are acting like they bigger than everyone else. So I think that meant that someone said of the singer, because the singer didn't say that. Then another one said, no, she sucked last night. It was the same shit she been doing on her tour. Didn't I say that? I literally just said that before I read this article. This is the first time I'm reading these tweets, by the way. Because I like to genuinely react as I'm reading it. They went on to say a two-hit wonder is not worthy of headlining. Well, goddamn. Now, another person said to the main public, she's not bigger than Green Day. No one listens to that 2024 album anymore. Next. You want to know something? No shade, but I listen to if it's in rotation because I listen to what do you call it? Like I do like a whole damn, what's the freaking phrase? Like when you have like certain little music things that you have like all your favorite songs and stuff in a playlist. I don't know why I could not think of damn playlist. I listen to playlists and stuff most of the times because of course if I'm working out at the gym and all other stuff, I'm listening to playlists. And yes, a lot of Charlie's music comes on that way. But me listening to Brat as like from cover to cover, like from beginning to end, I haven't done that since 2024. So they absolutely right. I don't listen to Brat like that. Brat was cute. Brat was a moment, but is Brat memorable? That's TBD. So another person said to the main public, she's not bigger than Green Day. Oh yeah, I read that already. So another person said she only had one viral album, Be So For Real, right now. I still don't know who that is. Is she popular? I feel like y'all just being shady to be shady, actually. One mediocre album had her acting up like this with 4 question marks. Now, I should point out, because I do have a graph. So let me get to that because I want to show y'all not that. These are all the tweets. We don't need to show that. I want to get to this graph. So I want to show y'all Green Day albums. So Green Day has 5 UK albums that went to number 1, 10 top 10s, 17 top 40s, and it spent nearly 500 weeks in the top 75. And this is according to the official charts website. So now let's get to Charlie's numbers, which of course you would know is significantly lower because she is relatively, even though she's been making music for about 14, 15 years, we'll say over a decade. Her numbers are not going to match what Green Day have accomplished in their career. And they were around during physical media. This is not digital download stuff. This is their physical media selling artists. They sell out stadiums, which I know because I worked their show last year. They sell out stadiums. So for her to sit up in here, and I know she was probably trying to be cheeky about it or whatever the case is, but sis, I do think that you've gotten in your own head. And I've said from the beginning, and I love, no, I don't want to sit and toot my horn, but I love when I'm right about stuff because I always said Charlie XCX is a viral star. She is big in the internet. She's big in the matrix. But if you're in the real world, the math ain't mathing. And we already heard that, she was trying to pull stunts and shows with that Brat album around the time when no, it wasn't Post Malone. It was Jelly Roll. I almost call him Teddy Swims. They all look like quiet as his cat. But when Jelly Roll came out with his recent album, what was it called? Beautifully Broken or something or another? When he came out with his recent album, and they were trying to cook the books over there with Charlie and that whole Brat album. And we're trying to make it seem like her album went to number 1. I think it came in 3rd or 4th. So she wasn't like she didn't come out triumphant. Now, as far as Charlie, she's been nominated for 172 awards and has won 47 over her career so far, and became a hit on social media following her Brat album release in 2024, which is literally what I just said, that she is a social media artist. She has found a way to use the Matrix to her advantage, and that's where her success comes from. And there's nothing wrong with that. She should be able to go and do what needs to be done in regards to her career. But girl, you're not gonna sit up here and try to say like you a headliner because, and I've said this before, when I worked your show, I don't like the whole minimalist idea. It's cute, but not in an arena setting. The arena is too big, and when it's just you on that stage with a big jumbo screen behind you, you just look like a little ant on that stage. So if you don't have some of the pomp and circumstance, some of the extra bells and whistles to go along with what you were trying to do, thinking that it was just going to be enough for you to sit and sing into an auto-tune mic and thrash your hair around until you need a chiropractor at the end of your show. Like, to me, that's not enough to keep me captivated in your whole situation. And the whole, okay, I'll do a couple of performances and then I leave the stage and then Troy would come on and do his thing. It when I would look at that, it just felt to me that Troy was outperforming you because Troy was giving you a show. Troy was giving you homosexual Madonna tease where he was up there in his outfits, making out with his male dancers, giving sex, giving choreography, and giving, showmanship and stage presence. And I could understand if you want to do the whole raver thing, but that doesn't work. Just what you would do, it just didn't feel like it was greatly executed. And this, what I feel like is not just her, but I feel like in general, when it comes to just the whole, if you're trying to do that whole EDM DJ culture type of performance and incorporating the pop landscape into that, I feel like if you're going to marry those two, y'all have yet to figure out how to make that work for the stage. And I remember that this was even back in the days where y'all were trying to make superstars out of groups like The Prodigy and Chemical Brothers and, and a lot of these other, DJ style type performers or raver types when you need a face to go along with, or you were trying to, I guess, y'all were crossing over into that whole MTV landscape. How do you make the whole DJ culture idea type situation work on a pop level? How do you, because you have to bring the visuals and they want people and they want to see that. How do you make that work in the MTV era? Yeah, it was cute when it was at the time, but I felt like a lot of those type of artists or musician types or DJ types were not able to make that work. Although I will say this, the genre in itself of EDM, of DJ culture, works for Coachella. That seems to be the bigger genre that exceeds in the whole Coachella situation. Because I saw a little chart that they put out, which I had it up here for y'all to see. I think I posted it on my Facebook, but I didn't pull it up, so I don't really want to waste time trying to pull that up right now. But there was a chart situation they pulled up where they said like EDM is still like the biggest thing that pops off in Coachella. So I did mention that Billie Eilish did come out and perform the guest remix. Lorde also came out and performed "Girl So Confusing." Troy came out and did "Talk Talk." Now after performing with Lorde, I heard that Lorde dropped a little preview of her new song. I haven't heard it yet, but I did get alerts that Lorde did drop a teaser. And then we saw that Timothy Chalamet was there. Now I know some of y'all was like, because I did ask, where's Kylie? Kylie was there. He was all up on her. I saw after I asked the question, I went off air or whatever. I did see that he was all hugged up on Kylie. They were out living their best life and having a good old time out there. He kept smacking her behind. I said, that's why you got with her, because she got all that ass. You know how these boys are. And with Timothy being so damn skinny, it's big, because there's always the little skinny ones you got to watch out for. So now, she did say that and she didn't want Brat Summer to end with a cryptic message displayed behind her. She said, does this mean that Brat Summer is finally over? I don't know. So, but she said, yeah, because it was already over like last year. Wait, was it? No, I don't know who I am if it's over. Fuck, wait, I remembered. I'm Charlie, and honestly, I just want moment to last forever. Please don't let it be over. Well, girl, if you want to sit up in here and just continue to keep Brat going on, then keep Brat going on. I mean, if you don't want it to end, but it's probably that adrenaline talking. But she's about to headline Glastonbury, so I don't know what she's bitching about. You about to headline Glastonbury, Lido Festival, and Park Life. So you headline a bunch of shows, but we'll see if you're gonna give us a little something different instead of the same old in a lot of your live shows, because that's what you've been delivering, sis. So I say all this to say, what do y'all think of this story? Or do you think that people are reaching? Or do you think that, yeah, Charlie does need to come down a little bit? And I remember I said weeks ago on this that I feel like Charlie has gotten a little too big for her britches. I do feel like she's getting a big head. And you should enjoy your success. Nobody's saying that, but the ego, girl, bring it down a bit. Bring it down a couple of notches. So bring it down from like a 12 to about a 6.5. So let me know what you guys think of this story in the comments down below. You said Girls Aloud uploading Wake Me Up from the tour. It wasn't on my watch today. Oh, I heard he said a few things to Chris Hughes that actually upset ITV. So he said something to the heterosexual mad. So ITV was like, "You're gone." Well, he's probably said he says a whole lot of crazy stuff. Okay, but Lord Savon Eilish, three whole fat. Wait, did Lord come out as a lesbian? Which have I been? She was giving bulldagger tease when I see her though. Or was it just me? I'd rather go to Radical Optimism tour. No, like, well, look, Dula people she about to tour the garden for like 4 nights. So I'm sure I'll be working those when it comes. What is that, in September? And I'll probably since I'm to my Patreons and things, I'll probably do a whole review of it over there. I'd rather go to Radical Optimism. Dula can at least give a show and make her worst album come to life, aka MDNA tour. Well, yeah, that's true, because that album was a mess. But I did like the tour. Then I saw people trying to drag Madonna to my, well, the difference between her Gaga and Chica thing. Like, please, Madonna has never made any argument about the fact that she doesn't have the most spectacular voice, even although she has admitted it. And you having a great voice, okay, you can sing, but we're not going to sit up here and dismiss all the accolades that Madonna has accumulated throughout her 40-year career, because you can't have a successful career like she has for 40 years plus. Well, actually, the first album, what was it, the Virgin Tour, just celebrated its 40th anniversary. So you can't have that many. You can't have that peak and that milestone for being moderately talented. So whatever. The truffle shovel. The fact that they even said she didn't slam Matt Healy because of George. All that drama. She didn't slam Trump. Go Palestine. But I think because she's British, it's probably better she didn't. There was a lot of people out here talking about Free Palestine. Who was it that just did Green Day. They just did a whole Free Palestine situation. But they've always been very vocal and very political. So I don't know why all of a sudden everybody's waking up. Oh, they're woke. Oh, they're this. Oh, they're that. Did you not listen to American Idiot? You clearly are an American Idiot if you wasn't paying attention, because they've always been political. I mean, American Idiot stemmed from the whole George Bush era. George W. Bush, I should be more specific, and that whole era, and the whole Iraq War and 9/11 and all that mess. That's what all of that album stemmed from. So I don't know where the hell all of y'all been. Probably not paying attention. Low-key pretend to like Green Day to talk to the cute punks growing up. And there's plenty of them. First of all, there was when I worked that damn Green Day concert, and I was on the floor when I had to work that one. Imagine working a floor at a stadium where it's hot outside. That was a moment. There was so many, I mean, and I didn't have no issues. Like, everybody was pretty cool when it was on the floor. And it was so much easier to get people to their seats versus Madison Square Garden is such a headache when you're having to deal with it there. But there was a lot of cuties up in there. I was like, okay. He said Charlie has better US Billboard stats, though. She is feeling herself. Kylie Minogue to receive a prestigious music honor in her native Australia. Article in your inbox. She had to slash prices on the sweat tour. Well, that is true. And I feel like, didn't they say that she didn't make that much money from that tour, though? I think it was like neck and neck or whatever. I don't think she made that much money. But a friend of mine actually flew from California to go see Kylie Minogue in Orlando. And shout out to friend of the show, Felix, who's actually going to see her tonight in Miami. So I know he's going to be pretty. That's probably what he's on his way doing now. He's probably on his way over there. That's why he ain't watching the show. Or maybe you could watch while you heading there. But I don't know. But he did say he's going to go see Kylie tonight. So I'm excited to hear, like, the next time we do a show, what his overall thoughts was. Charlie has better U.S. stats. Green Day is an institution in the States, especially American Idiot revived their career. I get MAGA things. Yeah, that's why when they toured last year, they only toured 2 albums. And they did both of them like straight through. So one in the beginning they did Dookie, every song off that album, and then they went right into American Idiot. So they just did those 2 albums. And that was like the biggest albums of their career. So I'm like, yeah, that's smart. Just do that. I like when the veteran acts do that. Was like, well, we're only going to cover one, we're only going to do these 2 significant albums, and that's what we're sticking with. We're not going to go and bring songs off of other things. Oh wait, they did bring in new songs from their recent album. They did do that in between, but for the most part, they heavily focused on Dookie and American Idiot. The whole Kamala is brat, and her cultish followers I find unsavory. Lion is brat. No, there's nothing punk. I'm sorry, but there's nothing punk about being Republican. I was like, no. Being punk is going against the establishment, not being for it. And I think people need to realize that. Maybe a lot of y'all once upon a time were punks, or maybe y'all were fake punks. I don't know. But yeah, punk is always about, speaking up and going against the establishment and standing up for what's right, and not just, falling in line and being a part of the status quo. That's not what punk is. Punk is about rebellion. Charlie's Vibe, for example, writing a song about Dasha, that skinny puppy from Red Scare Podcast, is a post irony dimes. Dime Square? Are you talking about Dime Square, Times Square? Green Day mentioned Palestine, while Charlie has a song dedicated to a white girl who worships Tucker. Does she? So I don't be paying. Maybe I'm not paying attention to them lyrics, but if you out here talking about worshiping Tucker Carlson, child, you need Jesus. Joining in late again, a 30-year-old band will always be a bigger pull than a B-list pop artist with a mostly homosexual audience. You said my show is Saturday. I'll be MIA because shopping and dinner and a show. Well, I'll probably be working Saturday because I still have not, and it's annoying, but I have not even gotten my schedule for the playoffs yet, so I'm still waiting on that. Oh, funny enough, they probably sent it as I'm running my mouth on this damn show. But it's like, yeah, I'm still waiting around for them to send out the full schedule. Oh, wait, hold on now. See, now this is why I said, let me check. So, I don't know. I'll have to check this later because I know there's a lot going on in regards to like the Rangers and the Knicks, and they got a schedule based off of who's going to make it to the playoffs, who's not going to make it to the playoffs. So I'm dealing with that right now. So I don't know if I might do a show Saturday. I might not do a show Saturday. Who knows? There's an influence rat, Coachella, Jake Weber, who claims to be punk even though he drives a Tesla and lives in a wealthy. First of all, anybody that openly admits they drive a Tesla, you're dead to me. And I like John Campea, I like your show, but he openly admitted, he was like, oh yeah, I own a bunch of Teslas. He was having I was like, you seriously openly admitting that you ride hard for Elon? Like, people gonna look at your ass sideways. But some people be like, there's some people out here that literally just be like, I bought a Tesla before Elon started going nuts and doing all this other mess. So, but if that's your argument, I was like, okay, maybe I'll let you rock a little bit. But you out here, thoughts on the Lambs dissing Mimi for the cash grab that is the Emancipation. Child, I done gave up on Mimi eons ago. First of all, Emancipation, no shade, but Emancipation was her last good record. It does feel like she do be out here grifting. She gives the bare minimum when she performs live. So I like to remember Mimi when, for the woman that she was, not the woman that she is. Sidebar, did y'all see the video of her son Moroccan? I don't know if he was on Twitch or he was somewhere, but his mother came in the room while he was live streaming and he got tight. He was like, get out of my room. It's like, yeah, and people talk about he was being disrespectful. I don't think he was. At the end of the day, he don't care about her being the elusive chanteuse and how many Grammys she owns and if she's a big songwriter, whatever. That is his mother. He's a teenager, and teenagers hate you once they get to be a certain age. Any little thing you do, it irritates their spirit. So I give him the benefit of the doubt on that. And it was like, yeah, get out of his room. let him do his own thing and find himself. But yeah, but then again, maybe she was helping them streams go up. I wonder if Phoenix Suns will make her a jersey. I don't even know if we made her a jersey. I'm trying to remember if we did. I think she had like a jacket or Obama jacket or something or another. But I don't know if we gave her a jersey. Speaking of which, I totally did not even realize, and I was in the section where they had them laid out. When we did the Disturbed concert, yeah, we took down the banners for the Knicks because y'all know the story about them, the pyro being so much that it actually burned down the banners for the Chicago Bulls. So yeah, we took down the banners for the Knicks. I was like, oh yeah, because one of the security guys, he said no, the other side has the Rangers up. On this side, they put up the Knicks banners. I was like, oh yeah, you're right. So yeah, they took them down because in the section where I was at, that I was securing, it had all those banners laid out. We was rolling. I was like, what the hell is this on the floor? Then the guy comes and he rolls it. I was like, okay, now I see what it is. They said never understood how John Campea is viewed as as any sort of authority. Let me find out you don't like John. Well, you know what? I agree with that because sometimes I have a love-hate relationship with him. Like I like his content. I like him. I like Coy Jandreau. I like Christian Harloff. Like I like a couple of them that's over there that do movie pundit stuff. But I always, at the end of the day, I fall within my own beliefs about things. But I do agree with him that I don't know if he tries to act like he's an authority, but I feel like a lot of times his energy does come across like he's a pompous know-it-all. And I think that probably is what turns a lot of people off, is because he'll go in, and one of the things that I think that always bothers me about him, he tries to equate a lot of things based off of box office numbers. Oh, I don't think it'll be $1 billion grossing movie. But I was like, can y'all stop? I hate when y'all do that. It's like, everything don't have to gross $1 billion in order for it to be successful. And that's something that irritates me. First of all, Hollywood needs to cut down on how much they spend on movies to begin with. Everything don't need to be a $400 million budgeted movie. Sometimes you can make something that would need a $400 million budget. You could slash that in half and you could probably, or maybe even less than that. You could make $100 movie. Or even we've seen directors who have made movies that were like 60, 70, $80 million look like it's expensive. Particularly the guy that I think he directed the new Jurassic Park, but he also directed The Creator. He wound up taking a small little budget. I think The Creator cost $80 million to make. That movie looked like he spent $200 million on it. He didn't do that well financially at the box office, but the movie looks expensive. And that's what I'm saying. Like, if you know what you're doing, that's all that should matter. So yeah, sometimes I do feel like he does act like that he's, a know-it-all. And sometimes I be like, okay, like you doing too much. But that's probably because he a damn Pisces. When I found out, I was like, okay, Pisces got a flair for the dramatic. I know because my roommate Devin was a Pisces. Or is a Pisces. So he was somebody that melodramatic. I'm like, okay, sir, relax. You doing too much. Us Virgos, we just be looking at y'all like, we all in our head with stuff, and we just be like, okay, sir, you doing the most. Relax, calm down. Oh, so I gather you agree. But anyway, let's move on. And then, another thing that irritates me too, because I remember this, because now I feel like you pissing in my wheelhouse. So sometimes what he'll do is, whenever there's a story about movie news or whatever the case is, and a lot of times y'all know, like, if gossip spills within the movie genre, what he'll do is like, well, normally we don't discuss the gossip things and stuff on this show, but unless so it's always like you try to act like you're above celebrity like the gossip that goes on in Hollywood. And I hate when people do that. It's like, okay, so now you up in here, you just thinking, because if it says so in the trades, be it Deadline, Variety, Hollywood Reporter, those sort of things, that it's gospel. I mean, yeah, they are like the main trades where they get all the information for all the major news that's coming out. But it's like, if I want to discuss something that's a rumor of comic book movie in regards of like maybe like today, I don't know if y'all seen, but there's a picture that came out allegedly of Robert Downey Jr. as Dr. Doom. He's got like it looked like a gray mullet, and he's got the costume on. And when I looked at it, I'm like, okay, now the base, I don't know if it's real or not. Although one time they did drag him when he posted a picture of Spider-Man, the Spider-Man, as in all three Spider-Mans that we had, Tobey Maguire, Andrew Garfield, and Tom Holland on set. He was like, he posted it, and it turned out to be real. So and people was pissed about that because that was like a key moment that was in the movie that people didn't want to know about. But apparently somebody snuck a photo, posted it online, and he posted it, and we all saw it. It's the same thing with Dr. Doom. So I'm like, okay, the picture looks really cool. I'm looking forward to seeing the movie. Now I'm still on the fence about Robert Downey Jr. playing Dr. Doom. But I was like, okay, the costume, I actually like the costume. I don't know if it's real. I don't know if it's AI. I don't know, whatever the case is. But based off of what I saw, I'm like, okay, I kind of like the costume. I kind of like the look. But y'all have to remember that Dr. Doom, we're not supposed to see his face. So if y'all try to pull a Judge Dredd, and I'm talking about the one with Sylvester Stallone, and not my favorite one that I love that we need a sequel with Carl Urban. Please, somebody make a sequel to that Dredd movie. That movie was so good. But Judge Dredd, y'all basically had the whole damn movie mumbling with Armand Asante. Is he still alive? I think he died. And then you got, because they look like they pretty much was just mirroring each other in that damn movie. And then you basically had no helmet on. It's like, no, you have to wear the helmet. We're supposed to see your mouth. That's it. You got to be able to act with the helmet on. We weren't supposed to see what you look like, but they decided to keep the mask off. But anyway, I'm done with my rant. I don't know, but that was another thing that I remember that was like, yeah, that bothers me a lot when people do that. It's like, yeah, you do movie pundit stuff, but don't shit on those of us who also can mix both, that we can give opinions based off of stuff going on in Hollywood with the gossip, where if it pertains to a rumor being in a movie or whatever. But anyway, let's move on. Let's talk about the BeyHive, who are all upset because they're calling hypocrisy over how, I guess, I don't know, I guess this is a country music album that Benson Boone is coming out with, although he doesn't give me that. He gives me like he's doing, as I've said before, Freddie Mercury cosplay, and that was very evident when he was at Coachella, which everybody just want to hear him sing better things. They ain't care about the other songs. Sidebar. Shout out to Marcelo Hernandez over there at SNL when they did that jury duty scene, and he came out as Benson Boone. That was funny. The whole sketch was kind of, I wasn't laughing, but when he came out and did a Benson Boone in person for going for jury duty, I did laugh at that part. So yeah, people are calling foul over this, and particularly a lot of Beyonce fans. So the BeyHive is calling out, it's calling hypocrisy. I just realized I did a typo and I got to fix that. After Benson Boone's American Heart album cover received praise for featuring the American flag, while Queen Bey faced backlash for a similar concept with her Cowboy Carter cover. And he revealed the album cover at Coachella after his whole performance. So they said, quote, notice how no one has a problem with him holding the American flag, but when it was Beyonce, a Beyonce fan account posted. The account claimed that everyone and their mama wrote think pieces about what Beyonce's patriotism meant, which included speculation her album cover was American propaganda and catering to the white Americans. But yeah, white people can come out and colonize shit and y'all are okay with it. That's not a problem. But let Beyonce come out. She's got an ulterior motive. Now another person said, quote, mind you, Beyonce was using a flag in protest of how America was moving. But we all know Benson got the flag to show pride in America, but nothing for him. And that's usually what it is. Whenever you see white people out here, and that was another thing I seen when I worked at Trump rally, you see people out here wearing American flag regalia, if it's a jacket or if it's pants. First of all, wearing red, white, and blue as fashion, cannot tell you, like, you literally have no taste in fashion if you look at that as, oh yeah, I'm gonna wear my pride. First of all, real people who take pride in what they do, and it's all about your actions and how you move in life. You wearing American flag regalia does not show your pride. It comes across as is disingenuous, and it comes across as fake. To me, that's what I get from it. Whenever I look at that, like, us Virgos, we could sniff out bullshit a mile away. So whenever I see stuff like that, I'm just like, you a fake patriot. And 9 times out of 10, a lot of people are. So yeah, but a lot of times when it comes to people like, I would say a Benson Boone type, it's like if you wear an American flag, it does come across like performative. It comes out that, oh, you're automatically equated with being pride. But anybody who is a other, which we all know, like, in a way, I guess people are just reminded, like, you know what? As much as we try to be like, yeah, this is America, this is how we are. We're part of this country, even though a lot of people, especially Beyonce's ancestors, was brought to America on slave ships. You know what? If I was born here, I'm just as American as anybody else. But when you look at it, these are these racists that want to remind you that this world isn't for us, regardless of how far we try to push and navigate through this world, make something of ourselves. You will always have those racists that will remind you that at the end of the day, you ain't nothing but a ninja, and stay in your place. That's how a lot of them feel. So another person went on and said, Beyonce held the flag. Outrage. This dude, wow, art. Where's the logic? Then another person said Beyonce had a real message to say that would have been deemed un-American by racist people, whereas Benson is likely portraying the symbol of what evil America loves. Well, we won't know until we hear the album. But then again, do people care enough about Benson Boone? Yeah, he cute. Yeah, he wears his little cute outfits. Yeah, he's a stunt queen because he likes flipping off of stuff. I don't know how long he's gonna be able to keep that up. But at the end of the day, I always look at it as cuteness aside, tight outfits, tight onesies aside, and gymnastics aside, because you like the male equivalent of pink at this point. Does the music actually move the needle? Child, not from Cowboy Carter. They said one joke, Cowboy Carter from Sheen. The shade. Now, another person said no issue with him holding the flag. Oh yeah, only when Beyonce does it, it's an issue. This is what another protested. So, they said Beyonce had a real message to say that would have been deemed un-American by racist people, whereas Benson is likely portraying a symbol as what evil America loves. Oh, I just realized I read that one already. And they said he dropped the new album cover to his Instagram, but I saw it when I watched his Coachella performance. That's how I knew about it. And his album American Heart is set for release on June 20th. But I'm like, American Heart, what is the heart of America? I'm definitely curious to see what this little white 22-year-old male deems America's heart. Because when you look at somebody and I'm sure it's going to be way different than what Beyonce came up with, because Beyonce is talking about the history of America, and especially country music, or Black people's contributions to the country music genre, which comes from folk music and blues. Y'all can try to slice it and whitewash it any which way you can, but yes, that is the overall truth regarding of the origin of country music. Then they said it did face some criticism, however, with one noting, if it's praising the current state of the U.S., I'm out. Yeah, because if you come out as a damn Trumper child, you're about to join Carrie Underwear's in obscurity. Now, previous artists who have incorporated the American flag into the album covers include David Lee Roth for DLR Band, Dolly Parton for God and Country, and NoFX for the War on Errorism. Now, Beyonce's use of the American flag sparked backlash, and the album cover prompted Azealia Banks to accuse her of being in white women cosplay. Well, yeah, Azealia stayed coming out here trying to read the girls, but did y'all see the one recently about her going in on what's his name? Oh, because Kanye came out about some trans stuff, and she was talking about how, like, she went in on Kanye about him allegedly liking it in the booty, which we heard Amber Rose say that too. Now y'all know that they were talking about she faced criticism. So another person said, so one person went and said that they said, I love her so much. I love everything about this project. It's historical, provocative, subversive, and good. She fucking ate this photo. But what does it mean to wave an American flag during a genocide? What does it mean to wave it as a Black woman, as a Texan? This is what one Twitter user posted at the time. There was also a discussion over the thought that she was reclaiming the flag. So one person said this. They said, I hate to hurt so many of y'all's feelings, but Black people can't reclaim the American flag because you can't reclaim something that wasn't made for you. You were never thought of or included in the first place. So what exactly is there to take back? And then another person said, how in the fuck do you reclaim the American flag? So I don't know if they're trying to say, you know what, it's just people are always going to try to come in and say a whole bunch of crazy stuff to justify their racism. It's the same thing like with the whole Rachel Ziegler thing. Everybody was all upset because y'all picked somebody who wasn't white to play Snow White and then try to say, oh no, you can't accuse me of being racist. It's not racist to say that. Yes, it is. At some point, we got to be able to call a spade a spade. And for y'all to come out and you say stuff and then we see exactly what you mean because y'all think that the only way that you can call something racist is that you have to deliberately come out and say the racist word. And it's like, no, there are things called microaggressions. There's different levels to being a racist. You don't have to flat out call a Black person the N-word to be a racist. You don't have to flat out call a Latina or Latino the S word, rhymes with pick, or trick, or mick, or lick. Y'all know the word. So you don't have to come out and say that word deliberately to be able to show that you're a racist. Y'all got ways about it. And the one thing about us people of color, we've been trained enough to be able to read between the lines and see and call y'all out on y'all mess. So one person also said this, and it made me crack up. Somebody went, and I saw this on Twitter earlier. They was like, because I guess it was about Benson Boone performing at Coachella. They were like, y'all out here sitting there saying that Doshi is an industry plant, but Benson Boone isn't. I wouldn't say that Benson Boone is necessarily an industry plant. I do not believe that Doshi is an industry plant. I hate when y'all come out here and y'all use that term because I just feel like y'all use it a little too loosely, kind of like genius. And y'all just take away the full meaning of the word. I don't think he's an industry plant. I do feel like he comes across a bit manufactured. That they like to play up this whole thing of like he's a cute white boy and you can kind of gear him towards the gay boys, the girls, the kids, that sort of thing. So he can hit all those demographics. So y'all try to play up the whole let's make him this generation's Freddie Mercury. Although even down to him singing Bohemian Rhapsody at Coachella. But in my opinion, he's not giving full like Freddie Mercury was just in a class by itself. He was just something that just exuded that je ne sais quoi, that X factor, that thing. Can't be explained. Some people just have it. It wasn't just like Freddie Mercury woke up one morning and was trying to copy off of some other artist or basically go through the motions, like give some American Idol version of what he thinks Freddie Mercury is. And yes, that was intentional because y'all know Benson Boone started out he was on American Idol, then he quit. So that all kind of falls into the whole thing. Whereas, like I said before, when Adam Lambert got up there and joined Queen, and he even had Brian May come out and perform with him at Coachella recently. Benson Boone, I'm talking about. But now we just back to Adam Lambert. When Adam Lambert came out and did his thing with Queen, he was bringing himself to performing those songs. He wasn't trying to get up there and give Freddie Mercury cosplay. And that's what I feel like is given with this kid. He's 22 years old. He hasn't truly found himself yet. They found a little thing that is like, okay, this works for you. Let's go with it. And maybe down the road, he'll find himself. Similar to like Lady Gaga when Grace Jones went in on her and said that I just felt like I saw this when I first met her. I just saw like this empty shell. Where it's like you just cosplaying all these other people, but I don't know who you are under all of this regalia, all the fashions, all the things that you're doing. Same thing I see with him. So I definitely feel like the BeyHive, you know what, you're right in regards to that. Y'all could be all upset about this, but I also feel like y'all got bigger fish to fry. Y'all should be up here worried about Kanye and that bullshit he been saying about the Carters and going back and forth bullying them making derogatory comments about Beyonce and her sex life with her husband, and calling her children retarded and all that other stuff, even though he half apologized for it. But still, that's where y'all anger should be, not over a damn album cover and the use of a flag. We know what that is. We know that there's racism is apparent in the United States of America. So we got to be able to choose our battles and really put the energy where it needs to be, and not be all up in arms over a damn album cover of a white boy holding a flag versus Beyonce holding a flag. Because Beyonce ain't worrying. Cowboy Carter's doing what he's doing. She busy focusing on his damn tour. That's supposed to be starting any day now, right? Isn't it this month or is it next month when it starts? Soon is what I'll say. So I say all this to say, what do you guys think of this story in regards to the BeyHive basically saying that it's a bit hypocritical that Benson Boone gets to be out here holding a flag and everybody's not outraged, but Beyonce holds it and they crying foul. She trying to reclaim something. What y'all think she is? Trying to reclaim her time? She been did that. She ain't trying to reclaim no damn flag. Y'all can have that shit. Quiet as it's kept. So let me know what you guys think of this story in the comments down below. I was never attracted to Benson physically or musically, and he always felt forced upon. Yeah, maybe that's what is that. Maybe that's where the whole industry plant argument comes from. Is that, and it's and yeah. So I never understood why the homosexuals was drooling at the mouth over him in the Speedo. Yeah, when I saw that picture, I was like, okay, it's cute, but I've seen better. Miss Boone smells like an industry. The flag is even bigger. Tell, okay. It does feel like, yeah, you pandering. It does feel a bit pandering. Like I said, cosplay. Somebody existed. A black woman using the American flag as an album cover when the album invokes dealing with anti-blackness from fellow Americans is not the same as a white man who ain't openly queer using it. Well, you said openly queer. He might be. I get a little vibe from her. But she ain't coming out the closet, not until that career, blows up so big. And then, somebody, wait, you said somebody exists. I'm like, why was something I'm not able to pull up the thing Virgos really do be knowing about without anybody having to? Sure do. Because we spend more time observing and reporting. We like auditors. Like, we would just be up in there just observing, the shit. And then when we need to pull that card, when we need to go in that file cabinet and pull out that sheet, oh, we come with the receipt. The body is cute face card. Yeah, and I was like, I don't understand the whole. What is there a trend going on right now with like men walking around with these thick mustaches? Because I'm noticing like it's a big trend. Also, Ryan Coogler got this big old mustache he walking around, which I don't particularly like on him. He's still cute though, but I don't like the big thick mustache on him. Then you can see Michael B. Jordan got the big mustache, and then you got Benson. Like, is there a big mustache trend going on? I guess because men can't really do much, so now we're trying to make facial hair a trendy type situation. The whole patriotic move would be more compelling and believable if he was making country music. Yeah, he's not, and that's why I say it's weird because yeah, he kind of goes into this whole. It's like this pop arena rock type thing, similar to like what a lot of those groups from the 70s were doing, particularly like we're saying, like Queen. Like he's trying to go in more of that vibe. Although a lot of the music hasn't really been living up to his one hit. Which I remember one time when I worked Jingle Ball, everybody was just waiting for him to sing that song. I'm sick of that damn song. That's why I had to laugh when Marcello over on SNL was doing that song. And then at the end, you saw he burst out laughing. He's another one that can't really hold the joke in. Then at the end, when you saw like the camera was fading out, he broke character and started laughing. I would not be listening. It should have been a confession. I mean, look, if he could get away with it, he probably would have been. Also, aren't mustaches homosexual? Oh, you mean like how they was in like the 70s, like very much Alan Parker, remember him, the porn star? And very much like 70s and 80s, like the porn stash. That's what they used to call them, porn stashes. I saw that Benson clapped back at people for underappreciating Brian May performing at his Coachella set. Gen Z didn't know who the fuck that was. I just said I did though. I've had a quick, yeah. And you know what? It wasn't just him. I feel like the fandom at these events, y'all are so lame. Y'all don't appreciate nothing. All y'all do is stand there with y'all damn phones and just want to record. It's like y'all don't know what to do with yourselves when y'all are out at a live event. It's like, oh my God, I gotta pull out my phone. I've even seen that a lot when I'm working shows. It's like, oh, they favorite song. Oh my God, I gotta put it up. I gotta show myself singing song. Give a fuck about you performing a song that ain't yours and recording it and posting it. Nobody don't care about all that. But I understand it's a thing and people got to do it. You don't have to, but I always like try to make it a point for myself to just sit and enjoy the show. Like you missing so much, and quiet as it's kept, when the show is done, I guarantee you got all that footage in your phone. Y'all are not going back rewatching what you recorded. You just wasted a whole bunch of gigabyte in your phone, and you're gonna end up deleting it, which is what I ended up doing with my Madonna stuff after I posted all over my social medias. I deleted the videos. The Kylie video I didn't post because I'm not supposed to post footage. So I'm basically keeping that in my phone, and not posting it on social media because I can't do that. Especially when you work it. But they did the same thing with Missy Elliott. Missy Elliott performed. You saw how underwhelming the audience was. People was criticizing them over that. Like y'all standing there while Missy Elliott is dancing her ass off, giving one of the best shows of the night. Like, are y'all crazy? Plenty of black folk. Well, I knew who Brian. Well, of course, I knew who Brian May was, but I knew that because I watched what was it like? I think I watched a Queen documentary or something or other, and I saw him in that. Plenty of black folk criticized Beyonce for the album cover, though, and I don't think it was because of anti-blackness. They thought she was Yeah, that's what Azealia Banks said. That she felt like she was pandering to white folks, so she got it from the white people thinking that she was trying to reclaim something, and then she got it from black folks because they felt like she was trying to pander to white folks. And I think it's because people who are black did not understand the cultural history and cultural significance of country music and black people's contribution to country music, which is why I think why they did what they did. So Beyonce basically had to give y'all a little education in regards to that. Oh, I thought somebody was going to respond. I was like, yeah, are y'all actually watching my show? That's why y'all sent me that message. Kanye talk about everybody. Nobody expects people to talk about, she dragged his behind. Hold on. Let me see if I get to that story, if I could find, find that Kanye post, because that shit had me cackling. So I can read it to y'all when we get on here. Oh, and I also posted the pictures of the Drag Race finale looks. It's like, yeah, they all over the internet. Mm. Hopefully I can find it in time because I do not like all this dead air when I'm sitting there looking for something and then but it's in my head. It's in my head. So I gotta find it. I gotta find it. Damn, how much stuff did I post on my social media? I was like, damn, I posted a lot of stuff on there. Okay, I found it. So now I got it. Let's see what everybody else is saying. Queen's Greatest Hits was my favorite first. Oh, I'm not trying to remember. Oh, you know what? I actually bought the CD. There was like a double. I bought that from Goodwill. It was in good shape. But I actually have it on my Apple Music in my library. Too many people go to Coachella just to say that they went. Absolutely. This is why I was like, I'd rather just sit at home and just watch everything because I don't want to have to sit and be like, oh yeah, the only thing is you gotta go and you just want to be like, yeah, I was at Coachella, okay, and what's that got to do with the price of tea in China? So you went to Coachella, what do you fucking do? I stay my ass home and didn't have to be in no damn heat because I heard everybody was complaining about how hot it was out there. But I would like to go too. But then I saw like the crowd and how many people. I was like, oh, there's too many of y'all. Like I would literally have anxiety with all them being surrounded by all them damn people, and you can't even see like the stage or whatever. So if I was like far back, I was like, nah, I'd rather just walk around and just eat and drink all night and party. Ooh, excuse me. Okay, so now speaking of Kanye, let's get into this heifer. Because I was like, yeah, if that was gonna be the next article that we was gonna get into, I was like, we definitely got to talk about that. So Kanye is basically said that his mother is a lesbian and took the social media to spill her damn personal tea. I'm like, you know what? There's no hope for this heifer. Because you just out here saying all kinds of crazy stuff. And the lady ain't even here to defend herself. And I don't even know what caused him to bring this up. But anyway, so he said that his late mother, Donda, was actually a lesbian and he once witnessed her hooking up with his babysitter. He made the bizarre comments in a post on Twitter over the weekend, suggesting that he started hooking up with his employees because of her behavior. So you literally out here blaming your mother as to why you was hooking up with your employees, and was this consensual? Because are these same employees that was out here complaining, said you was doing all kinds of sexual allegations and stuff? This is what I want to know. And you openly admitting it because you basically crashing out. He said, quote, you know that day when you hear noises coming from your mom's room and you find out she's a lesbian and you're like, Mom, that's my babysitter. You're sleeping with the employees. See, I got it from my mom. The revelation has expectedly left fans on social media shocked, saying Ye dissed Virgil, every rapper, countries, religions, and now his own mom. Bad mouthing your own mother on Twitter, yeah, you better than that. No, he's not. Y'all need to stop giving this man grace. Y'all need to stop making excuses for him. Because y'all, anytime that he be crashing out, the first thing y'all all do is say, oh, well, if his mother was alive, he wouldn't be doing this. Y'all all blame, y'all put it on, his antics, his mental gymnastics, his alleged bipolar stuff. Y'all put that on the shoulders of Donda. And it's not her place to be able to help him with whatever issues he got going on. There's medication for whatever issues he got going on. He got enough money that he could afford to go see a doctor, to be up on the meds, and to be able to do the things that he's doing. So I just think he's talking out his ass. And first of all, we don't even know if this is true. And just because he said it, don't make it so. Because Donda ain't here to defend herself. And even if she was low-key getting her box eaten and vice versa, what is it of your concern on what your mother was doing? And you taking it upon yourself to go in her room because you hear moaning. So they said the posts about his mother were far from the only explicit statements he wrote on Twitter over the weekend. He also described his style of music as cuck while writing several other sexual remarks, saying, my genre of music is called cuck. Think punk, prog, rock, rap, electronic, Berlin school synth wave. It's a lot of different genres. This is when he wrote this first post. He added, cuck is my whole style. It's my music, it's the way I dress, it's my attitude. Of course, I'm punk. I'm the most punk ninja living, but punk ain't punk enough to describe me. The punk got ninjas that dress like Devo with cone heads and ish. My ish is sex, drugs, rock and roll, money, politics, homophobia, sexual harassment, and racism. That was in the beginning, because you ain't giving that no more. He said, I'm a walking lawsuit. I read more pornography than I write, and then I read Bible pages. I won't even read a paragraph unless it's a story about a bitch getting the ish effed out of her. If you ain't talking about a bee getting the ish fucked out of her, I don't want to hear it. I wasn't trying to say the F word. It just, child. So y'all know, maybe you need a reminder, his mother been dead since 2007. So that's like what, 18 years? And she passed away at the age of 58 from a coronary artery disease after, and this was due to, she was getting cosmetic surgery. And so, he had the song, Hey Mama, which he performed on his Glow in the Dark tour, as well as the 50th annual Grammy Awards. So yeah, there was that. But in regards to that, let's read the comments. So the people over there, because shout out to the Neighborhood Talk where he wrote this, where they put this up. One person said, "Poor Wendy, the wrong person is in need of a guardian." Another person said, no, his mama rolling in that grave. Another person said, okay, Kanye, this is beyond unhinged. He needs a full-time caregiver. Another person said, remember, y'all, this ninja was on a presidential ballot and people voted for him. It ain't like he was going to win, but yeah, I get you know, the president remains the same. So it says, y'all said he was attacking everybody because he not over his mom's death, but look like she catches strays too. What's y'all excuse now? And you know what? You absolutely right, Ayo Trav, because that's who said it. Because I said that before I even read your comment. It's like y'all always been out here making excuses for Kanye, talking about, oh, he crashing out because he lost his mother. Well, then his mama not even safe from that mouth and them Twitter fingers. So what's the excuse? I've been said that at some point y'all got to stop using Donda as a scapegoat or an excuse for his behavior. At some point, your ass about to be 50. And like what, 2 more years, one more year? I don't know when his birthday is. Oh, I know he a Gemini. Ciao. So I think, what is he, 48 or something or another? So probably like another 2 years. Look, you about to be half a century old soon. Let's just say that. I don't know. I don't care about Google or Schmoogle. I know a damn sign is a damn Gemini. But you in your late 40s, pushing towards a half a century. If you could make it that far with all that damn mouth. But in that whole situation, I just don't understand how you've been running off with your mouth saying all this crazy stuff. And it's like at this point, when your mother is not even safe from the shit you be saying on social media, at some point we have to stop blaming other people and have them take responsibility for their actions. And Kanye is the main factor in this whole scenario. You dissing everybody. Like nobody's off limits with him. So Kanye, once again, is trash. I need to stop talking about him, to be honest. But the thing I had to bring up about the whole Azealia Banks thing, because he posted something and said, my dick too long. First of all, you spelled too wrong. And I'm tired of y'all not knowing the difference between T-O, T-W-O, and T-O-O. Two, where you agreeing, is T-O-O. Going to the store, it would be 2-O. Now, if you counting, it'd be T-W-O. Y'all need to learn the difference between 2 and 2. And I don't know how you, at your big ass age, and you can't even use the right damn two, sir. But anyway, he said, my dick too long for trans pussy, which caused Azealia Banks to go in and let have on his ass and said, but your anus is definitely deep enough for girl dick, Yeezy. She went on to say, we all seen that fat pussy you guys sitting up and poking, honey. We have actually seen the entire length of your butt crack, and you wear jeans with no drawers. That's cruiser shit. And I remember that because there was something I was watching and they showed him getting in the back of a car and getting in his car in a pair of jeans and no drawers. I remember seeing that because I saw that recently. I forgot what I was watching, but somebody posted that video. She also went on to say, no, for real, you can tell Kanye Bussy is probably top fucking tier. That's why they letting him talk so much shit and getting away with it. LMA, bunch of O's. And look, I agree. Because it's like, yeah, you must be getting your back ripped, split into two with all that shit you be talking. So who clapping them cheeks, Kanye? And do you even clean out properly? That's the other thing. And then Seal the Mermaid did write in the comments. He said, I mean, Amber did say that she tickled his booty hole before, after dragging her and her kid, and he deleted all them tweets right after. So yeah, we gotta remember that. So Kanye, stop fucking talking, because then when you meet your match and you start saying all kinds of crazy stuff and somebody drag you behind over the controversial stuff that you've been saying, then it's going to be a problem. And you're going to end up deleting what you said. So I want to hear from y'all. What do y'all think of this story in regards to what Kanye said about his mother and Azealia Banks reading him down to the floor? I definitely want to hear from y'all. So let me know what your thoughts are on this topic in the comments down below. Who said? Oh yeah, I read that. I need them to do more exposed. Why he talking about his dead mama like that? That's why I say, like, you just tacky. His own damn mother. Not okay, Miss Cook. Spell it with a bunch of K's, right? This man is far gone, and people still defending and using the loss of his mom is not an excuse anymore, especially to this extent. Exactly. The babysitter part is far worse than the lesbian part. The lesbian part doesn't even need defending, even though Kanye probably telling a story. That's what I say. He probably lying. And my thing is also, how old was her? How old was the babysitter? That's what I want to know. Because if you out here sitting, your mom out here sleeping with young girls, I was like, this is what we doing, Kanye? She gagged him a bit. That pussy is fat. Okay. Oh, you know that pussy is fat and deep, and probably smells too, because she look like she don't wipe properly. Like you do not give me that you use wet wipes. You literally look like you wipe your ass with tissue until like it's a little dry back there and a little itchy. And you give like stains in the drawers. Like you give me like Ray J. Ray J talk about he got to wear dark drawers because of the skin marks. Like that's what Kanye give me. And can you imagine you walking around with no drawers on? So I know his ass. He looked like he stink. I tell you, he looked like he give me swamp ass. That's what I look at whenever I think about Miss Kanye. The girls don't be doing high profile exposes, barely known rappers and ball play. Okay. And that's what we need. We need the high profile people coming out. But then again, if that happens, you might find them dead in a ditch somewhere. People not knowing the difference between two is a deal breaker for me. That not that me too. First of all, you spelled me too. You spelled the two. You used the wrong two. That's why I say I can't stand when people misinterpret and misuse certain words. But anyway, where we going? Okay. I was gonna say, did I forget something? I did. I was like, wait a minute. I didn't do this story. Well, actually, I didn't create a heading for it. I thought I did. So hold on while I create another banner because I thought I actually created it. All right, so let's get into this story. What is going on with my thingamajig? Because I'm seeing like my heading is not coming up. Thank you. What the hell is going on today? It's like my banners are not coming up. It's up now. So let's take two in action. All right, so let's get to this story. So Johnny Bananas appeared on this new show that is called Pop the Balloon or Find Love, which y'all know was a big hit over on YouTube. I used to see a lot of the clips and stuff popping up on like social media, like Meta had a lot of the clips and stuff about popping a balloon. First of all, I didn't like this concept. I think the concept is stupid. I would see like a lot of times when you would have somebody looking for love and they would have like a whole group of people up on the side and then they would pop the balloon or whatever, be like why they don't like a certain person. Like they did one on this woman, and this is why I don't like it. They did one on this woman that they thought was transgender, and she wasn't. She was a cisgendered biological woman. She was tall, she had a deep voice, she had a good job and everything. But the fact of the matter was, because she had this deep voice, whatever, and he was like, oh, I can't, if I gotta talk to you on the phone, I'm gonna talk to a man. So yeah, I can't get with you. And this the overall shallowness of it. And you know what this, and I think also the reason why I don't particularly care for it, because it reminds me of this show that we used to get back on in the day on MTV. Remember Next? The gay episodes was always iconic, and I used to cackle watching those episodes. But for the most part, that's what this show reminds me of. But all shows are cyclical. Somebody will come up with the same concept, but just add their little, sazon on it, and then it becomes something different. So Johnny Bananas, who y'all know is from The Challenge, and will literally show up at a damn envelope opening at this point in his career. Because how many more seasons of The Challenge can he possibly do? He's being dragged over something that he said that people are deeming racist. So, yeah. So, but actually, if y'all care, it is on Netflix. But I should probably let y'all know. So, and Yvonne Orji, who is from Insecure, is the host of the show. So during the first episode of Pop the Balloon, Bananas of the Challenge fame was interacting with the women looking to find love on the show. So the show's host, Yvonne Orji, then asked him which of the women would have been his type. So then he made a comment because, apparently he's into feet. And he made a comment that some people deem racist. Now, I do have the clip. So we're going to play it. Shout out to YouTube. I mean, not YouTube. Shout out to Twitter and Glock Topics. Who had the clip. We're going to play it, and then we're going to come back and talk. Please hold. Yes or no answer, Johnny, because Johnny, be so for real.
the best opportunity to make it work by what? Coming out with my plan?
All right.
Yeah. I think I did.
Johnny, I'm gonna ask you one last question. I'll send you on your way. Who would you say would have been your type? Like for real.
I mean, we start with the toes. Let's see.
Oh, thank God.
Got really pretty toes. You've got really pretty toes. You look like you sleep from a tree upside down.
Me? Oh, you don't want to sleep from me, Johnny. These toes gonna help you build a home. You know what?
You need good toes to build a home. You need strong hands and good toes.
It's a yes or no answer, Johnny.
So yeah, I don't know if y'all heard it because based off of the audio and all the other stuff, but he literally said that because he was talking about the girl's toes, he did say that you need good toes to build a home, and one of them looked like they hang from a tree upside down. So of course, when you hear that, people are equating that you trying to refer to a black woman as a monkey. But the funny thing is, he said you have pretty toes, and then when he got to the third girl, which is what he said that people took what he said out of context, and that's what he was talking about. He was talking about the third girl, which if you actually look at her dress, it did look like she had some bananas on all over that dress. So it did give a little monkey tease. And I'm talking about the white girl, because that was the third girl that was on that line. And he was talking about the toes. And he actually pointed it out because he has the picture. Where is it? Because I have that picture also. And yeah, so he was, let me take out the banner so that way y'all can see it. Oh, actually, I didn't flip it over to the other thing. Hold on. So, yeah. So he said it was this picture. And if you look at the circle, that you can see that he was referring to her in that whole situation. So people took to social media and slammed him over what he said. Now, one person said, "This is racism ASF. At Netflix to sit here and copy a show that isn't even yours, then allow this facially challenged white man to say that to her is absurd. What is wrong with you all?" Well, for you to say that they copied a show that isn't even yours, that's not true, because the people who are behind the show, which is Arlette Amuli and Bolia Matundu, and there are a couple. The show moved to Netflix. So I don't know if maybe they get I don't know. I haven't seen the show, so I don't know if they get a created by a producer credit, whatever the case is. So I'm thinking that it's an extension of their show that just moved over to Netflix. That's what I'm assuming. But if it's not, then I guess your comment is valid, and then they did kind of copy their show. The second person cursed Bananas, saying, "So how many times does he have to be racist before they cut ties with this ill midget bitch?" Well, first of all, how tall is Johnny Bananas? Let me look that up, because y'all calling him a midget. American TV personality. Oh, he's 5'10". He ain't short. What are you talking about? So, yeah, and he's 42 years old. He was born in 1982, June 22nd, and he's 5'10". 5'10" is not short. I mean, it ain't 6'4", but he's not short. Sure, it'll be Tom Cruise. That'd be like 5'7". Sure, it'll be Tom Holland. Now, one fan wrote, he also called Taylor Hale a monkey on here like 2 months ago. Like, seriously, how many strikes does he need before enough is enough? Now, I do have a follow-up on that whole Taylor Hale thing, because I was like, who the hell is Taylor Hale? Apparently, she was on Big Brother 24, and she won that season. So, yeah, people are saying that she called her a monkey. Now, I do have that information, because we're going to get to that, but let's go through this first. Now, one person noted, they said sometimes commentators can say things like that without much intent. I hope she didn't take it personally. Meanwhile, another Twitter user added, "Cancel the show." Well, the only way they'll cancel it, and this Netflix, because you know how funny they are. This is why I don't 110% fall behind Netflix, because every time I like a show over there, we don't never necessarily know what their numbers are. They dump all their episodes all at once, and then they're surprised that after the weekend is over, because that's usually how long it take people to watch their seasons. It'd be, if you ain't got nothing going on, you can sit there and marathon watch it the whole day, or it may take you 2 days or 3 days. And then they shocked that next week their shows aren't on nobody's radar. I'm like, yeah, because you drop all the episodes at once. Y'all really think that concept is a great idea, which when you look at other streaming services, when they drop things week to week, it works that way. Now, me personally, I like to let things build up so I can binge watch. I don't personally like the whole week to week thing. That's what I've been doing with The Last of Us. I started rewatching season 1, and then also before I get to season 2, because I know the second season aired last night, and then with Daredevil Born Again, their final episode airs, I believe, tomorrow, and I'm like 3 episodes behind, so I'm gonna just binge all those all the way through. So I'm a binger. Like, it don't bother me, but everybody else is just like, yeah, we all know, like, the numbers show that when you release something week to week, the numbers pretty much go up. So, or it still remains on people's radar. So now the Bananas did respond to what the backlash is and said that he wasn't referring to the black woman when he made the comment, because I showed y'all the picture of the whole circled foot thing of the other girl. So he said, "Hey morons, I was actually talking about the white girl whose toes were hanging over her shoes, who was literally dressed like a fucking tree." He also said, "It's wild how fast some people can twist a moment into a false narrative." Now he also concluded there's real racism out there. Weaponizing fake outrage for clicks cheapens it. And that is something, whether I'm going to take him on his word in this whole situation. Bananas, don't get me wrong, has said some problematic things in the past, and he's been called out over some of the stuff that he does over there on the challenge. Not fully, but there have been times where he's done some crazy things where he's been called out. And I think it was they looked the other way because he was like their biggest superstar over there on that show. And reality TV has their own bearings and stuff. We're going to get into that when I get to the Patrick McDonald interview with Bethany Frankel later on in the show. But how messy it is behind the scenes and all that other stuff. But there was another thing from the Taylor Hale thing, because I want to show y'all that post that came out, they said, a couple of months ago. So yeah, she wrote that yellow fruit man pinned a tweet to his profile at 8 a.m. saying that he was looking for engagement. And by 3 p.m., you all gave him exactly what he asked for. I don't want to hear a single word if he somehow pops up on every show in the conversation. Well, Johnny Bananas is always on every damn show. So yeah, there you see it there. He got the monkey emoji, and then there's a gorilla, which some people are like, oh, Johnny out here being racist. But here's what he said on that. They said that, yeah, but they said that this was from, he clarified that Step Up Social, because that's, I guess, where it was. They said a marketing agency promoting a cryptocurrency project posted the tweet without his consent. So in a chat with Variety, he said, I do not take this situation lightly, adding that he contacted Hale immediately to explain. Now, meanwhile, Hale stated she didn't believe the tweet was intentionally racist, but was disturbed by the racist messages she received from some fans afterward. She also expressed disappointment in the delayed public response. Well, that's always going to be the case, because it's like, yeah. Now, let's entertain the idea of what if he did say it about that black girl. I don't think, a lot of times, and I tell you this when it comes to white folks, and this is not to excuse the behavior, but white people have something called racial blind spots. I think a lot of times they say stuff. Now, there's something that y'all are deliberate racist. And I can always tell when it comes to that, like, okay, bitch, you being deliberate. Kind of like what I said about Mickey Rourke when he went in when he was over on Celebrity Big Brother, and he's, making the comments towards JoJo Siwa, who was a lesbian. And proudly so, and screams it from the rooftops to everybody who will listen. And to me, I can guarantee you, after I'm done with you, you ain't gonna be a gay no more. And she said, I guarantee you, I'm gonna still be in a loving relationship with my girlfriend, who's non-binary, but her girlfriend. And you making them comments thinking that because you're a man that you're gonna be able to convert her to some dick. And it's like, no, that's not how that works. So yeah, when you say something like that, then that's a deliberate. And not only that, when he goes and makes a comment about lighting a fag, which we all know in England is what they call cigarettes. However, a lot of people aren't privy to a lot of the British slang, and we know at your big age of 72 what your intention was behind using that word towards a girl who's clearly an out and proud lesbian, and you trying to just be homophobic and messy. So that's deliberate. But with Johnny Bananas, it was like if they went and put that stuff in there, I was like, at your big age, you should know what racism looks like and the old stuff, especially when you've been on so many reality shows and you've been around so many damn races, particularly when you've done a lot of shows, House of Villains, you've done Worst Cooks in America, I believe. Like every other show, reality competition show that has been invented, I'm sure Johnny Bananas has been on it. Like he knows how to stretch. He's known how to stretch his 15 minutes for 20 years. He also said that he denounced the tweet and considered legal action against the agency. Now, Step Up Social also apologized, acknowledging the post was inappropriate despite the emoji's usage in crypto marketing. Well, if that's what is used in crypto marketing, it's not something you should have posted for him on, going towards a black girl. Because, yeah, that is fighting words. What people need to realize, when you equate black people with monkeys, that's racist. Those are fighting words. You got to be careful with a lot of that stuff out here. But like I said, when you don't have enough people of color working in your businesses, when you're not surrounding yourself with different races and ethnicities, or people with ethnic backgrounds, whatever the case is, white people are always going to have their little racial blind spots. And so, Johnny, you need to be careful what you're saying out here with certain people. So I hope that you wasn't that wasn't geared toward that black girl, because if it was, we definitely gonna be out here windmilling on your behind. So I say all this to say, what do you guys think of this story? Do you believe that that was intended for that black girl? Or do you think that he was saying what he said when he was going after that girl, the white girl, which when I looked at her outfit, it did kind of look like, when you look at the black girl, first of all, them shoes she had on was ugly. They looked like high heel shoes with fur on the top. Those are ugly. But it looked like she had on like a t-shirt dress. Whereas the white girl that he was talking about, she literally had like, her dress was yellow and black. It looked like it was like mangoes or leaves or bananas. Like it kind of fit in that whole jungle type of look. And then he talked about her feet. And then he mentioned two of the girls before he got to the third. And that's the girl. The third girl got the read. So he couldn't have been talking about the black girl, because if he would have been like, you got pretty feet, you the one that looked like you got feet, you've been hanging from a tree. She wasn't the third girl. She was the second girl. That the black girl was the second girl. The white girl was the third girl. So clearly he wasn't talking about her. But I guess because of the way that he was pointing or looking or whatever, you already know, like, shady camera people or whatever are going to pull a narrative where they want to be able to take things out of context, and they want to actually, this stuff is for ratings. So there's always intent behind a lot of what these shady people do. So I definitely want to hear from y'all, and let me know what your thoughts are on this story in the comments down below. All right, let's see what the people are saying in the comments. Blaming your, oh yeah, I read that one. It said pop the balloon is gutter regardless if it's black operator or not. I don't like the show. So I honestly wish black people, and especially black women, to stop going to these shows, because they always use us to embarrass us. I'm not mad at people for trying to get him together, because you should, when you feel things are racist. But he was talking to the white girl, but the black girl thought he was talking to her, which didn't help. And maybe he should have been, well, I don't know. I didn't see the whole episode where he clarified, but I just go by with the clip. And I realize a lot of people do that. A lot of people will go based off a soundbite, a clip, a headline, and they run with it because it sells. People don't really sit down to watch things to be like, okay, so what was the whole, what's the nuance behind all of this? And I don't like to admit, but I always thought Bananas was good looking. I like Bananas. And yeah, he is cute looking. He got a big ass too. But that's why I like him, because he had a big old butt. But for the most part, it's just like, yeah, but the attitude and stuff is cringe. But I think he does it because he knows being that villain type makes for good TV. If he did say that to the black girl, it would be racist. So the pick your battles argument shouldn't apply. It was, yeah. And that's why I felt like at the end of the day, it was a misunderstanding. But, people there's a lot of people that just get off on, oh my God, I just want to be mad about something. Like, there's little people that their whole life they get their whole life, or the adrenaline be pumping. If there's just like an ounce of, I could just be upset about shit. Y'all want to be running around here having heart attacks at y'all young ages, being mad about stuff? Anybody got time for that? I know I don't. All right, y'all. Let's see how many more topics we got. All right, so we got 4 more topics left in today's show. So if you can, do me a solid, hit that like button if you have not already, and that subscribe button. Also smash the notification bell so that way you know when we go live with a brand new episode of Chris Avalon Unfiltered. I'll definitely also be putting in timestamps in the show so that way you know If you want to follow some of the topics that we'll be talking about throughout the show, if you don't want to go through all the banter and all the stuff that we do. So without further ado, let's talk about this story because we talking about a lot of messes going on. Remember that girl, that Bronx girl that got punched in the face? I did laugh at that. She was like some anti-abortion activist. Well, apparently the girl that punched her, she found herself in handcuffs for assault, which, you know what, no shade, but I don't feel no ways tied about what she did. But before I give my overall thoughts, let's just get into it. So Breonna J. Rivers, who's 30, was arrested on Thursday on one count of second-degree assault for her callous beating. Callous beating, really? That's what we're calling it. She punched the bitch in the face and she left gagging. It wasn't a callous beating. This is, of course, of the New York Post. You already know what type of narrative they're going to pull with this story of activist and instigator Savannah Craven Antau during a street interview on the topic of abortion last week. And this is according to the NYPD. So this is what the donkey said on her Instagram. She said, just got word from Detective Breonna J. Rivers was arrested. God is good. Oh, yeah, we trying to incorporate God into our BS. You know, this is exactly what clowns like her do. But I did find it funny that people was in her comments and dragging her on her praise. So one person said, free her. You knew exactly what you was doing. Another one said, boo, don't provoke anyone. Another person said, well, bailing her out. Or she said, well, bailing her out so she can give you another 10-piece combo. God is good. Laugh emojis. Another person said, maybe stop provoking people. Just a thought. Maybe I need to, and I was liking all of these. Another person said, I mean, you can rage bait people and then get mad when you get popped. Next time, learn how to fight or block. The other person said, you were rude and condescending to her, so I don't understand why you're so shocked she beat your ass. You can't just go around talking to people any kind of way. Maybe next time, watch your mouth. Another person said, but it still won't shut your ass up or stop it from happening again because you love to fuck around and find out. Leave these people alone. So y'all pretty much got the gist that everybody was dragging her ass in the comments and rightfully so. And here's the thing with this girl is I don't know if she's from New York. I don't know what part of the world you from or whatever, or maybe you just migrated here from another state. I don't know. Because you don't give like you a full on New Yorker or know how to move and maneuver in the whole New York space. But you got to realize in this day and age, in this current climate, people ain't got time to be getting messed around with. They ain't got time to be entertaining y'all poking the bear and all this other mess. You poke the bear, you can't be surprised by what happens. And her husband was on the other end of the camera recording everything. Because according to excuse me, Breonna, you was provoking her. Like you were antagonizing her. You were saying all kinds of stuff that was edited out of the video to where she took it there. Now, don't get me wrong. I'm not out here encouraging violence. I'm not saying that it's right that she went and punched this girl. Because at the end of the day, we need to learn self-control. And we do need to learn how to, we can't just be putting our hands on people. Howsoever, sometimes I feel like the only way some of y'all loudmouths can learn is if you be swallowing your damn teeth and your lips be beating your ass to the hospital. So sometimes I be feeling like some of y'all need that. Some of y'all need that 2-piece of the biscuit upside the head in order for y'all to get a point and learn, stop messing with people out in these streets. Because a lot of people, they straight up tense. A lot of people under a lot of pressure. There's a lot of stuff going on. People about to lose their 401ks. A lot of people out here about to lose their job. Unemployment is about to go up. Everything about to go up except our damn living wage. So there's a lot that's going on right now, and a lot of people are already on edge as it is. So expect a lot more people emotionally to go over that cliff. If you want to stand out here and try to push your pro-life antics, y'all can't be coming up in this face acting like y'all Billy on the damn street with y'all political bullshit, because you're going to run up on the wrong person, and they're going to do worse than what she did. You better hope another person ain't got a pow-pow on them and pow-pow your ass out of the union. Meaning that your mama gonna have to come and bury your ass. That's what I'm saying. So yeah, this broad is 23 years old. So you fucked around and found out because you young, and your brain ain't fully developed. So she learned that day, don't mess with Big Mama. So yeah, she went and asked Rivers several pointed questions on the topic of abortion and Planned Parenthood, leading to a verbal dispute that turned violent, saying, "You don't understand the magnitude of having a child," the woman officially identified as Rivers stated a few minutes into the conversation. And this is according to the video. She said, "I'm not the one who admitted they would be okay with killing babies in foster care and killing children that have been abused." And I don't think that's what the girl said. She said, "That's not the point. What I'm saying is," and that's when she clocked her upside the head. And then departed yelling SMD to her husband, to Craven Untow's husband, who was filming the man on the street style interview. They said Craven Untow suffered 2 cuts that led blood streaming down her face and chest, injuries that reportedly required several stitches. Well, she better be glad that's all her ass got. Now, Rivers subsequently claimed on social media that she was provoked into violence against the activists from pro-life advocacy group Live Action, and said to Savannah, "I sincerely apologize, but cannot sit around and allow you to continue pushing this one-sided narrative. I understand things being put on someone is never." Oh, I'm sorry. She went and said, "I understand hands being put on someone is never the answer, but throwing rocks or hiding hands is worse." This is what she wrote on Facebook. And then went on to say on her Facebook, "I need a platform to share my side of events." She had 7 million views, making me out to be child killing monster when she knows the truth. She railroaded me into all of this. She needs to release the unedited footage with her relentless antagonization on a subject that is very touchy. I will not allow my image to be defamed by the woman's actions. Anyone who knows me knows how respectful I am. I don't even litter. There's no way you believe I'm punching people for disagreeing with my point of view. Yeah, because I didn't really get that. Okay. It's like, because I always think in that sense, what caused her to kind of take it there to that point where she had to go put pause on you? She had to be at her wits' end because she was giving me like she was antagonizing. Like she gives me very much like, "You be perfect at Fox News," because a lot of those people over there, particularly Janine Pirro's drunken looking ass, because you know she drinks before she goes live. She just looks like she reeks of booze. They ought to be up there spewing their bullshit narratives. So now they said that neither the victim or the perpetrator or the person that hit her, as I have to say, have responded to any comments or whatever. But they said that Rivers is said to be arraigned on Thursday afternoon. And Rivers also started a GoFundMe page where she begged for money to hire a defense attorney. And at the time of publication, she has raised a total of $8,695. So to wrap all this up, I'm just going to use an old Mike Tyson quote. And that would be the following: "Social media has made y'all way too comfortable disrespecting people and not getting punched in the face for it." And that's all I'm going to say on that, because a lot of y'all running off at the mouth. Y'all don't know who these people are that y'all stepping to. And you need to just mind the business that pays you. Y'all running out here thinking just because you got a camera and a mic, a lot of y'all acting like y'all Barbara Dan Walters. Or like I said, Billy Eichner. A lot of y'all running out here like y'all Billy on the damn street, shoving microphones and cameras in people's face, being obnoxious. I wonder if he ever got punched in the face for any of the antics he's done on that show. And we all laughed and kikied at it because it was comedy. But women and abortion and that sort of thing, that is a tough subject. And y'all know when it comes to politics, a lot of people in their feelings in regards to that. So I definitely want to hear from y'all. What do you guys think of this story in regards of, the drama going around about that girl? After she fafoed. And look at her. Now she out here with a bunch of stitches on her face. And the other girl done got herself arrested. Now she about to be arraigned in a couple of days. So let me know what you guys think of this story in the comments down below. Bop, 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 bop. Well, I'm not thinking of that Kendrick song, "The MAGA Influencer Will Live." Okay. How you gonna poke the bear and get mad? That's what I always say. Y'all can't be out here poking the bear and telling them how mad to get. I tell people that all the damn time, because you don't know how people are moving in these streets, especially in New York. Like, people ain't got time for the BS. It's so stressful living out here and dealing with just so much stuff. That's why I just go walk. I go about my business. I mind the business that pays me. I do what I got to do, navigating through these New York concrete streets, and that's it. So now this girl out here starting her mess, and now they want her to, and now she wants to sit out here playing a damn victim. Fuck out of here. Oh. I was like, what's going on? Oh, they talking about, they said Trump plans to deport U.S. citizens. Of course he does. I mean, they're not putting no guardrails on it. Why y'all surprised? And I see Billy Porter out here talking. That's cute. I'll check that out later. People get selected with which type of violence they're okay with. Some folks think that a punch is too much. Also think wars and policing is cool. Well, look, y'all want to turn this into a fascist regime? Buckle up, Buttercup, because this is about to happen. Okay, so let's get into this story. So let's get to this Bravo producer, because we talked about it the other day, that Patrick McDonald, who, was once upon a time on a show called Fire Island. Then he got into producing a lot of shows for Bravo, including Vanderpump Rules and a bunch of other stuff. He also did The Housewives of Atlanta. He also did Portia's spinoff show that she did. He was the one that they showed, and he talked about it in the interview. He was the one that when Portia was going to beat somebody with a foreign object, he was the one that held her back to make sure, like, okay, sis, you need to relax, because if you hit somebody with this and you end up in jail, it's about to be a situation like you can kill somebody with what you're doing. But anyway, so he did a lot of shows. He produced the whole Scandal thing that was over there on Vanderpump Rules. He even called out Lisa Vanderpump at one point, because he said in the interview that when he came out with his video, when he was talking about a lot of the grievances that a lot of people who work behind the scenes were dealing with as producers and as cameramen, the crew, a lot of what they were dealing with behind the scenes filming these reality shows. When he was speaking up for them, he said he got a call from Thailand. He was in Thailand at the time in the interview with Bethany. He got a phone call from Lisa Vanderpump, and she was like trying to pick his brain and figure out, okay, is this a thing? Are you plan on coming back into the industry? Do you want to work for us? And I don't know. So she's trying to find out sources on who's been spilling tea to him or whatever the case is. I guess so that way, she could bully them or do whatever. I always said Lisa Vanderpump, there's always been something a little sinister and snakish about her. Hence why, a lot of the girls, they were saying that about her when she was on the Housewives of Beverly Hills. But she up doing her own shows, and I guess people give a damn about it over there. So, yeah. So, in addition to that, he actually sat down with Bethany Frankel on her show, Just Be. And basically, it was like a two-parter. And I posted both videos on my website, chrisavalon.com. So if y'all want to go over there and see the exact YouTube videos and how to get to it, or you could just go to Bethany Frankel YouTube, and the videos are there. It's split in two parts. So he basically was talking about, like, the treatment of crew members. So in addition to him spilling the tea on social media, he actually sat down with Bethany and they did an interview. And basically claimed that it's a bummer to the network producers when a cast member gets sober. So Patrick McDonald, who stepped back from his work on reality TV to launch an OF career, because his boyfriend also does OF, he appeared on the podcast, and this was on Friday, where they suggested the show rewards drunkenness and punishes boring sobriety. Now, I do have that clip, which I want to play for y'all, but I also want to play the other piece that I saw over on his page from, that's on TikTok, which I'll get to that for a second. But I feel like I want to play for y'all the thing where he talks about the overall drunken behavior and stuff that they push for, which I told y'all, I did an episode of Real Housewives of New York where I had to give the girls alcohol. So I truly believe in what he said. So this is from Bethany's thing. I'm going to play this clip and then we'll come back and talk. Please hold.
Is mental health, substance abuse, emotional abuse, and sobriety, is it exploited on these shows?
Yes.
No discussion.
Yeah. I mean, that's the addiction and the substance abuse kind of storylines are something that always made me a little uneasy. Anytime we were talking about someone's alcoholism or a drug addiction or any of that, it's so so fragile and something not to be taken lightly, and to be amplified by these shows. I can't imagine trying to like or stay or get sober while being on one of these shows. Like,
So they should not have people on these shows that have proclivity to addiction. Someone who has had any experience with addiction should probably not be on.
I mean, you probably, for your own health and well-being, no, you probably
And the
shouldn't,
network, though, I'm
maybe.
saying, yeah.
I don't know, because then you have like people who are in recovery who like are living great, healthy, balanced lives that can totally handle something like that. But I don't know. But it is a situation where people, when somebody gets sober on one of these shows, it's always like, oh God, really? Okay. Well, I guess there goes the fun version of them. You know what I mean?
It's
They're
a
like, oh,
bummer
God,
to production when someone's sober.
it's a bummer to production when someone gets sober, for sure, which is so crazy to think about. And like, it's like someone who like has been through that themselves. Like I have been through that, and just being caught up in that world. That's the commonplace. It's like, oh God, they're getting sober. Okay. And you know what I mean? It's like, no, wait, what? That's good for them. So, I mean, it's like similar to the Karen Huger situation. She got this DUI. She's literally sitting in a jail cell right now. And her alcohol consumption has been something that production has been very well aware of for many years.
Mhm.
There's been many scenes, all cast events like, hey, we got to make sure we get Karen home,
Oh yeah, that's on every cast. There's ones on ours with drugs. I mean, drugs on our show. Like definitely, the crew knows who's doing drugs and who's not doing drugs in the workplace. Like again, but then they hope that it's going to be discussed and brought into scene that other people are going to question that person's drug use.
Yeah. And then when like Karen gets a DUI, everybody acts all like shocked and surprised. Well, I mean, it's like her third one, you know what I mean? And
Yes.
how many times have we had to have like somebody drive her home from something, so.
Like same thing. We had a statistic recently that had like 25% of all housewives have had like incarcerations or arrests or, financial illegal activity. And in my friend group, like in anyone's normal circle, you don't have 25% of people that have not just had a brush with the law, but like have been in jail, arrested, have a DUI, have defrauded the government. And then there's also the financial foreclosure. Like, does that speak volumes?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, it is definitely like an exaggerated version, and it's definitely an amplified world, yeah, I mean, in what world would you sit there and go have dinner with the woman who's like now engaged to your ex-boyfriend who's suing you? You would never ever ever do that,
right?
But because in this situation you are forced to, you know what I mean?
Well, the networks.
Okay, so we're gonna pause it there because it gets pretty lengthy, and I don't want to have to be like, okay, we got the whole damn episode. If y'all want to see the full situation, you could definitely go over to Bethany's YouTube channel and check it out, because he also talks about the fact that when back in his experience, because he did mention in the clip, he was like, yeah, as someone who's experienced this, because Patrick McDonald once upon a time did a reality show called Fire Island that was on Logo. And he was talking about how, like, at the time when he was going through his stuff and he was going through a meth addiction, and he said in between scenes he would go in the bathroom and do his meth and come out and film. And I was like watching the show, I was like, yeah, he did look a little, like, looking back on it, he did look like he was going through some things. He looked a little sweaty, he looked a little rough, he looked a little malnourished. So you could definitely, if you look back on it, see the signs that she was a Methodist. So I love the fact that Patrick was very open and transparent and speaking out about it, but also on his TikTok, he posted a preview where he was basically talking about the toxic work culture over there at Bravo as well. So we're going to play that clip and then we'll come back and talk.
There was a report that came out recently that Housewives generated over $300 million for Peacock last year. All while the rate of pay for producers and crew members has gone unchanged for like the past decade.
Wow.
There's been no increase in the rates of each position in so many years, while the network and Peacock is raking in millions and millions and millions of dollars. How about putting some of that money in the cameraman's pockets, who is literally carrying the show on his back, or putting those in the pockets of the producers who are working day and night to bring these stories to life? Maybe compensate them for some of the work they're doing, and maybe start treating them better.
Well, here's who has reached out to you, which is interesting because, like I said, I started this by saying it's remarkable that people who are currently on the show would say something to you. So there's a shift. These are the
Yeah.
people that commented publicly. Crystal Kong Minkoff, you were a shining light during very challenging experiences for me. Miss seeing you on a daily. Heart.
Love Crystal.
The real Candace, my darling Gaga, you shine for all of us in a world that is sometimes dark, twisty, and convoluted. You are a light. You are brave. I love you so much. And then she said, reality TV cast and crew need a union, full stop. Thank you for saying the quiet part out loud. Vanderpump Rules, co-executive producer. Love you and loved working with you. Unbelievable. Sharice Jackson Jordan, Potomac, happiness over everything. You're such an amazing person and by far one of the realest producers in the industry. Wishing you the very best. Robin Dixon, Potomac, I love you, Patrick. Jason Augustine, who's an audio mixer on Winter House, said, absolutely loved working with you. Thank you for saying all this. I wish you the very best in your endeavors. The whole industry needs to be unionized. Lauren Fluker, segment producer, 2 seasons, Real Housewives of Atlanta. Also Beverly Hills. My mentor, I'm going to cry. My mentor, my friend, I love you. And as always, I appreciate your transparency. I so hate that it came to this because your passion for any project or show you take on is truly aspirational. I've become a better producer and person under your tutelage and with your advocacy. We see you. Thanks for sharing. I love you. And then last, DP and head of camera department, Vanderpump Rules. Patrick, I consider you one of the best producers I've ever known, but more importantly, I consider you a friend. So while we may be losing one of the best producers out there, I'm just glad you found that work-life balance so many of us in the reality TV industry are constantly chasing. Love you, brother. Those people will have been reprimanded by now, and I give them a shout out too, because it's courageous even to like and comment on your video, which they did, which speaks to you and why we're talking and why so many people have reached out to me. But I wanted to talk to you because I felt that you had the best intentions with no agenda.
Well, thank you, Bethany.
I almost forgot I had to bring myself back. But yeah, so it goes to show, like, you know what? And I know a lot of people are probably going to feel like, well, why is Bethany speaking up on this? Like, I don't know. So it's like, well, you benefited so much from being on Housewives and stuff. And it's like, that's true to an extent, but I also feel like Bethany was going to be something whether or not the Housewives came along or not, because of her background and where she comes from and how, that whole situation. So yeah, she didn't she do The Apprentice, not the one with Trump, but she did one with Martha Stewart. She was on that show. Nobody remembers it, but she was on that. Then she ended up doing, I don't know when the timeline was, if it was a year, a couple of years later, but she did The Housewives of New York. And yeah, she used her skinny girl as a way to sell her products, which they always say that with reality TV shows, is that when you have a product or whatever the case is, you use you use the reality TV show as a platform to catapult and to promote your stuff. Because quiet as it's kept, they ain't paying nobody no money over there at Bravo. I mean, there's some that make a shit ton of money, but for the most part, but that's years. You have to be pounding the pavement and doing things for years when you can accumulate that kind of money. But Bethany, with her brands, she was the one that was able to accumulate and use that. And so she was smart enough to parlay her, using the show to big up her stuff. And then she mentioned in the story, in the interview, that so many people have come on the show and be like, oh, I want to do what Bethany did. So they want her success. So it was a give and take from both sides. So Bravo benefited just like she did. So, and since then, she's been successful outside of the Bravo sphere, the Housewives. She don't need the Housewives to still be able to accumulate the money she's been accumulating. And the fact that, what does Patrick have to gain from this? Everybody that has spoken about up for him have nothing bad to say about him. He wasn't fired. There's nobody saying that he did anything, any kind of misconduct or anything inappropriate behind the scenes. It was that he was at his wit's end. He was doing all this work. He put his head down. He was relying too much on this. And I guess maybe because he's in a relationship with someone who professionally does OF, and he sees how happy his man is and how much money he's making and how he gets to travel the world. Like, I have a lot of friends who do what Patrick does and have been doing it for a while. I know Patrick is probably new at yeah, he did do the movie with, what was it, Rourke Club? But you remember that gangbang, sis? But, well, I do. And I have friends that do OF professionally and stuff, and I talk about how like they make their own hours, they make their own money, they travel the world, and they're happy. They get to live their best life. They don't have to live by the restraints of a corporation or somebody telling them what time they gotta get up, what time they gotta go to bed. Like it's prison almost when you work in a regular job. And then you having to work those crazy hours shooting to make a deadline for a reality show. Like he's not beholden to that. And you know what? With the way he looks and how he keeps that body on point and the connections that he makes, he'll make a lot of money doing OF. And I don't know why people thumb their nose at adult performance and adult cinematography and stuff, because a lot of y'all watch it and are putting money in this man's pocket. So shout out to him for speaking up for those who feel disenfranchised and feel like they don't have a wherewithal or say so. And he also mentioned that Sheena Shea from Vanderpump Rules got demoted to friend of on various seasons because her storylines weren't dark enough. But then, of course, I should point out that a Bravo insider basically said there is no truth to any of this. Well, of course, a Bravo insider is going to defend the machine. So why would they? And this is all in light of Leah McSweeney has her big lawsuit where he's out there saying, yeah, they get mad when you want to sober up and you don't want to play the game and give them entertainment anymore. And drinking is encouraged on these shows where I told you, I went down there. They didn't have me do it. I decided to do it. They asked me to do it. They could have found somebody else to do it. But I said, yeah, I'll do it because I knew I was going to be on TV. So I passed these women the drinks when they did the Send in the Clowns episode of The Real Housewives of New York when Tinsley Mortimer was the ringmaster. I was giving the girls a drink. You see me on camera. I had a conversation with Tinsley's mother, and I passed the ladies the drinks and kept it moving. So yeah, drinking is encouraged because they want them to be loose so that way they can get some kind of conflict, drama, whatever the case was. There was even one scene where Tinsley and Sonia were just talking about a bunch of nothing, and Tinsley's eyes was so, like, she was so out of it, them eyes was heavy, or it might have been the eyelashes. And I'm sitting there helping the crew. I'm holding up the wire to the boom mic or whatever, so that way it's not in the shot. So I'm helping them out. Now I'm not gonna sit here and bullshit y'all. So yes, Patrick, I'm glad you spoke out. I'm glad that you out here spilling tea about what's going on behind the scenes. And child, if you want to come on here and spill on this show, I don't mind getting like an exclusive interview or whatever. I mean, it ain't that exclusive no more because you had a conversation with Bethany. But I definitely want to hear from y'all. What do you guys think of this story in which Patrick McDonald was speaking out about the discrepancies that was going on behind the scenes at Bravo? And it seemed like, you know what, reality TV, not only just in the Bravo world, but just reality TV in general, needs its reckoning. Not just with the money and stuff, but I also feel like, yeah, y'all need to treat y'all staff and the staff, the crew, the talent, y'all got to treat them better than the way y'all treating them. But y'all feel like because they're non-union, that you could just treat them any which way. Thank God in my profession, because I work in live entertainment, I am unionized. So all the stuff that y'all be trying to do and treat people whatever, you ain't gonna do that to me, because I got protection. So I definitely understand why it is definitely warranted for a lot of these people where they ain't gonna work y'all to the damn bone. Take care of your crew, because then you'll get better stuff and better, things out of them as well as your talent. So let me know what you guys think of this story in the comments down below. His chest and shoulders are well-developed, respect, but I also heard steroids cause hit. I mean, I think I would not be surprised if he was using steroids. This is kind of the same thing when we talked about the porn star that we talked about on the last, what was it? The last show we did. What was that? Let me hold on. Oh, speaking of which, they said we were supposed to be getting the I Know What You Did Last Summer trailer coming soon. Damian Stone, remember when we talked about him dying at age 32? And I was like, I would not be surprised if that was due to steroid use when you have that enlarged heart. Because when you looked at his body, I'm like, damn, you that young and that jacked. So I hope not. Like, I mean, I understand like Tina is prominent and all the other stuff within the gay community, particularly, but I really hope that he's not still using. Because you don't want to get caught up on still doing them damn drugs, especially when you need to have a clear mind when you're doing adult entertainment. You don't want to get caught up in that mess. It's like a friend of mine who does Ray Diesel. You know, he hasn't had a he's a recovering alcoholic, so he's I think this was it this year or last year, I can't remember, celebrate his 10-year sobriety, and basically was like, and he does adult films. So I like when it's like once you've made the decision to keep just to be clean, stay clean. I mean, I know people are gonna relapse, but you know. Anyway, let's move on, y'all. Speaking of somebody who looked like a drug addicted mess, let's talk about Mickey Rourke, who was recently fired from Celebrity Big Brother, which I think you'd have to be a fool to not believe that that was coming. Because I truly believed in my heart of hearts that it was only a matter of time before he'd be the first chop from the house. And just as I predicted, it had happened. So, Mickey Rourke, the 72-year-old BAFTA winner, that was basically, that means that's like the British equivalent of the Oscars, is understood to have used behavior and language that was considered to be threatening and aggressive during a task directed towards housemate Chris Hughes, a former Love Island contestant. No physical altercation took place, according to the PA News Agency. Now, shout out to The Guardian for this story. They said Rourke had received a formal warning from Big Brother earlier in the week for unacceptable language and behavior directed at another housemate, JoJo Siwa. The 21-year-old U.S. singer accused Rourke of being homophobic after he made comments about her sexuality and said he would vote the lesbian out real quick. The Oscar-nominated actor also asked Siwa if she likes girls or boys, and when she replied that she likes girls and her partner was non-binary, he said, "If I stay longer than 4 days, you won't be gay no more." She responded, "I can guarantee you, I can guarantee I'll still be gay and I'll still be in a very happy relationship." So then, after that, they said Hughes, who has presented sports coverage for the BBC and ITV, told Rourke that you can't say that. And after the former boxer said he needed a fag and gestured to Siwa to add, "I'm not talking to you." Well, you kind of were, because who else knows what the hell a fag is up in that house besides you? That was intentional. So you know exactly what you was doing, especially when you was making a homophobic comment, talking about you was going to turn a girl straight if she had sex with you. First of all, you 72 years old, and she's like in her 20s. That's literally a 50-year age gap. And you out here talking about fucking a child, which I feel like that should be more problematic than you wanting the fact of the homophobia. So two things can be true at the same time. We can call out the homophobia, we can call out the misogyny, we can also call out the downright damn near pedophilia that you were trying to go in on. This is a young girl, and you talking about you want to put your dick up in her, in so many words, which is disgusting. Because you look like your face been beat in with a meat tenderizer. So after all that damage that you took from boxing over the years, it's like you went in to you went in to reenact a real life face off, and they botched your damn face. And now you walking around here looking like Caitlyn Jenner's doppelganger. So now in the diary room, they said Rourke was given a formal warning, and Big Brother said further language or behavior of this nature could lead to you being removed from the Big Brother house. Now, he then apologized to Siwa, saying, "I want to apologize. I've got a habit of having a short fuse, and I don't mean nothing by it." Which is literally, he said that and then did it again when he got into it with, what was it, Chris Hughes? When they got into it, they was going back and forth. So now the spokesperson for the ITV show said this. They said Mickey Rourke has agreed to leave the Big Brother house this evening following a discussion with Big Brother regarding further use of inappropriate language and incidences of unacceptable behavior. He admitted to doing wrong and apologized, saying, "I'm sorry, I can't take it back. You know, I stepped over the line, and I take responsibility for doing the wrong thing because I lost my temper, and I've been trying to work on it my whole life, and I wish I would have had better self-control, and I'm very sorry. I'm ashamed of myself for losing it, for a few seconds there. Nobody got touched or hurt. Maybe some feelings got hurt, or maybe others have feelings about others getting upset. But I'm sorry for that. Well, it seems like he's always been like, child, at 72, you still working on your temper? Like, there's no hope for you at this point. You damn near got one foot in the grave. Like, time is running out for you in life. And you out here still arguing and having a short damn fuse. And I guess because you're in Hollywood or whatever, people haven't checked you on your behavior. And you have to realize that when you're around other people and you're in this type of environment and you're in this pressure cooker, you can't just be popping off the way you popping off. Now, we love drama and conflict, but you can't be out here just being flat out disrespectful and inappropriate and saying the things you're saying. But some people feel like, oh, people being a little too sensitive because, it's just his age group. They just unfiltered. But you can't just be talking to anybody any which way you want kind of crazy. Because if you talk to me crazy, I'm definitely cussing your ass out. We'll just have to be going at it. And if you dare even try to put your hands on me, it's a wrap. I don't give a good goddamn you was a professional boxer or an amateur boxer, whatever the hell kind of boxer you was, outside of when the acting roles dried up. Because it was like, since you did 9.5 weeks and you did a bunch of other movies, that career dried up, and then you did the wrestler probably because you was difficult to work with on set. I wonder if Kim Basinger has ever said anything about him, because remember they did 9.5 weeks. And then it was like, after the wrestler, I thought your career was going to take off again. And yeah, you was in a couple of the Expendables movies, but we ain't really been seeing Mickey Rourke out here like that. But I should point out, yeah, he won the leading actor BAFTA and Golden Globe in 2009 for his role playing retired professional wrestler Randy the Ram Robinson in The Wrestler. So that was like supposed to be his comeback story. And after that, it was like the career kind of went back down in the toilet. So it'll be interesting to see, okay, now how will things turn out now that he is no longer part of the show? I did hear, and I think she announced it herself, Tiffany New York Pollard is about to make her way over there to the Big Brother house, the celebrity Big Brother house. So I think that they replaced her when they replaced him with her. And then I saw some people in the comments about, oh, don't play. Like, I hate when y'all try to play like y'all dumb. Y'all know damn well who the hell Tiffany New York Pollard is. If you don't know, you better recognize and you better Google schmoogle and figure out who the hell she is. So yeah, so that's the latest update on Celebrity Big Brother and Mickey Rourke being chopped from the house and replaced by none other than Tiffany New York Pollard. So I definitely want to hear from y'all. What do you guys think of this story in regards of Mickey Rourke being kicked out of the Celebrity Big Brother house? Are y'all surprised, or did y'all see this coming? Like, if y'all were just like me, it was only a matter of days, not time, but days, or maybe time, because time, same shit. It was only a matter of moments, I'll say, because moments would be a lot faster, that he was going to get kicked out the house based off that short fuse. So let me know what you guys think of this story in the comments down below. You already know what it means when it's supposed straight guys. Absolutely. That maybe he got some closeted feelings and stuff that he's got some feelings he hasn't come to terms with. And so you out here baiting this girl and making these disgusting comments and saying, all this crazy stuff. So I would not be surprised. Okay. Oh, you said Mikey thinking he can't be touched Mickey, I think, as a great poet once said, somebody lied to her several times. Okay. All right, y'all. So now let's get into our final topic. And let's talk about this Drag Race Season 17 Lollapalooza that just happened over on, what's that channel? MTV. Damn, I forgot what channel it comes on. So yeah, after we had to say goodbye to Susie too, which in my opinion was one of the kind of like the worst episodes of the season. I did not like that season at all. I talked a bit about it in the last episode that we did. I didn't like the idea that, okay, y'all had them. I mean, I understand if y'all were trying to do this whole thing, because I like the idea of, okay, so we're going to determine who's going to be possibly a part of the whole Vegas residency thing, because that's the new thing that I mean, even though it's been around for like, what, 5 years, the big thing that they're trying to promote now, the fact of the matter was, it just felt like, okay, y'all have this song, Meet Me in the Gift Shop. From what I've heard, the gift shop got a lot of trash-ass merch up in there that is basically just RuPaul-based stuff. None of the queens that perform in the residency, they get to sell their merch. So I guess they're just getting a flat fee from performing in the residency, but they're not able to sell their merch. First of all, I'd just be like, you know what? I would just have that stuff on my website. That's the way y'all just got to get it. And then we just have to figure out a way to deliver it. But anyway, but yeah, so we had to say goodbye to Susie too. Apparently everybody gagged when she got sent home because she didn't excel in that whole thing. I would have liked to have seen the girls get up there and do individual lyrics and stuff added to the song, or RuPaul would have at least had something to add to the song, but it just felt like some random throwaway song, and y'all had these girls get up there and do some janky choreography to a mid-ass track, and I felt underwhelmed. And so Susie went home because of it. And clearly Susie was giving more Broadway than Vegas. And that's probably a good thing because, child, quiet as it's kept, Broadway is way more valid than damn Vegas. Vegas is like where everybody goes to watch their career die, in a way, or relaunch their career. But, so yeah, she got eliminated. Sam and Susie placed in the bottom, while Anya picked up another win ahead of the finale. Actually, didn't Jules Sparkles win that one? I don't think Anya won that one. I could have sworn that Jules won it. But then again, then after this, it was like, look, then we got the final four got to come into the workroom, and then followed by all the eliminated queens from the season. So then, you know, Lana's basically ready for the SmackDown, and she wants to be the lip sync assassin. Even we got Joella, and we're gonna talk about her horrible ass runway outfit or her drag performance outfit, because I'm like, girl, who dressed you? But we'll get into that. And talk about she wanted her revenge, but child, we saw that performance. What revenge? Because you ain't getting nothing but sent packing again. So now the episode was filmed last month. So I know a lot of people are like, well, how did they even know like all the other stuff was going on social media? Because they just recently filmed it. They filmed that, I believe, like a couple of weeks ago. And so then we finally got to see it air. And so now we get to hear about what all the girls is up to. A lot of girls got a lot of Fix-A-Flat injected in their face because they don't look the same as when they started out. I just like Ariette's hair. I like the little skunk streak. It was giving very much Richard Madden from Game of Thrones. With, you know, how he has a little streak in his head, or it was giving Reed Richards from Fantastic Four. I was living for the hair. But yeah, there was a couple of girls that came up there. And I see y'all got a couple of nips and tucks in that face, like y'all been shooting Fix-A-Flat in y'all cheeks and y'all lips and things of that nature. And then Corey brought up the whole cameo thing where she was doing Corey Toot, which, sidebar, I think I'm officially become obsessed with Corey Toot. So I'm looking for Corey Toot. And then the girls basically were kind of bantering with each other and kind of doing the bragging, like, yeah, I'm going to kick your butt in the lip sync, and I can't wait to take this one, and I, you know, doing all the stuff. And then the girls started getting ready for the drag, you know, getting ready to get into drag and beating their face and about to get, so they could do the whole get ready for the SmackDown. But the cute thing, of course, because they had to do this on camera, even though I believe they did it off camera and probably did it on social media, whatever the case is, because Anya brought it up. Of course, for the context and because you're doing a reality show, they had to show Ariette pulling Anya to the side to apologize for that nasty mirror message, which I don't know if y'all saw Roscoe's that just passed, but Thorgy Thor was on there. I don't know if y'all saw it, but yeah, Thorgy Thor was on there, and they asked, fuck, marry, kill. And it was talking about like to Jules Sparkles, and it was talking about with her the other three that were there that was going up against her. So it was like, you know, Anya and Sam and Lexi. So she said, I would marry. She said she would marry Anya, to which, of course, Thorgy had to come in and say, "Oh, you gonna marry her? You gonna be making out with her with that breath?" And the girls done fell out. I was like, now we see, now this is gonna be the ongoing narrative. where she's gonna go now that's gonna be associated with Anya. Now everybody gonna be wondering, okay, now if I come near Anya, it's like you gotta worry about, okay, if her breath gonna hit you in your face, did the breath situation get dealt with? Or she's still running around here where she need to change her name from Anya Nerd to Halitosis. So that's something that I guess they're gonna be wondering and all this other stuff. And yeah, it was a key. But it also makes me wonder, like with Ariette coming and doing a whole apology thing, will this thing still be held over her head? Because I feel like, yeah, the way she went out, and it was a nasty way of her going out, her being bitter, her being in her damn feelings, the nasty mirror message, people will remember that for the rest of their life. Similar to like Fifi O'Hara. Now, you know, Jeremy done moved on, and a lot of people still out here bringing up old stuff from his time being on RuPaul's Drag Race, where he was just going through it with Sharon, who now we all know is problematic. And maybe Fifi was right about Sharon the whole damn time, but the way it was on the show, we ain't know about all that then. And then, you know, the way she performed on All Stars. So that's still being held over. And you know, a lot of the queens always complain about that. That they still going through, you know, they still getting a lot of the hate from the old seasons. So yeah, so Ariette apologized to Anya. She forgave Ariette. I was like, yes, now can we finally move on from this? And most of the eliminated queens basically want to have fun on the main stage and they want to redeem themselves in their last performance. Because we all know, like, when they was up there lip syncing for their lives, and we seen a lot of those performances, a lot of the girls really were a mess. And no shade, but a lot of y'all, like, y'all glue your wigs down, y'all makeup was looking crazy. It's like it literally was giving like y'all started drag last week. That's why I said y'all need to bring back Drag U, and you need to do it like The Voice. You get 4 iconic queens up there, and you mentor these new diamonds in the rough. Because a lot of y'all need that, and I'll host it. It's like, yeah, y'all, there's a lot of diamonds in the rough that's on the show, but now that you look at it, when you looked at this Lollapalooza, the girls is polished now. Like I said, they got the new fixer flat in their ass and their face. The outfits is outfitting, with the exception of some like Hormona Lisa with that lack of rhinestones on that one piece that she was wearing, and then Joella looked a mess. There was a couple of them. So yeah, now speaking of, you know, but they you know, it was just family. Once Rourke came out. Speaking of which, can we talk about RuPaul's outfit? I did not like it. I felt like it was giving, like, it reminded me of Britney Spears performing Oops, I Did It Again, the remix at the VMAs. That's the type of one piece that Rue had on. But if you was looking at her when she was walking, I don't know why, but the crotch looked like it was bubbling up. It just didn't look like, it looked a little ill-fitted. Like, the curves was curving, but it was just certain parts of it where it looked a little frumpy and it was bumping up in the front. And this is just like little details. The look didn't work for me. And I need her to retire them damn George Washington wigs, but and all the little Elvis wigs she be wearing too. But for the most part, yeah, I didn't like the outfit. I just felt like it crumpled up a little bit. But it was just her. It was T.S. Madison, Michelle, of course, and Bruno, who, you know, had to spin the wheel. So then we get to the performances, and of course, the first coming out will be, well, not of course, but it was Hormona Lisa and Corey King Man, which is Lydia Butthole Collins. So now they did a new twist on the challenge, which is they spin the wheel, Bruno picks out a ball, and normally what happens is they either, you know, they could pick, you know, the person that they could pick their opponent, and then the person who picks the opponent, who is picked, gets to choose the song. But this time what they did is you have a choice. You either get to pick your opponent or you get to pick the song. So a lot of the girls, you know, they wound up picking the song, and then Bruno had to spin the wheel again and pick the opponent they had to go up against. So the whole Liza with a Z performance, which I absolutely love, by the way, because I love Liza. Hormona Lisa picked Liza with a Z, which threw Susie off because Susie was like, oh no, that's my song, but she didn't get picked. Lydia Butthole Collins got picked. And Lydia was like, this is not really my wheelhouse. I know the song and I like Liza, but that's not necessarily my judge. And I was like, now, if Susie ends up getting picked. I was like, there's blasphemy going on up in here. Like, this is y'all cooking the books over there in the production. So no, it wasn't her. They picked, it was Lydia. So then Lydia basically ate her up. That one piece, like I said, that Pomona was wearing, or as I like to call, or we all call her sadness first, where that wig was flat. The outfit looks underdeveloped. It looked like you was about to go ice skating. Like you need to go and join Denali on and join the ice capades. So that's what her outfit was given. I didn't particularly like it, but she ended up losing. She was given the bare minimum during the performance, and I felt like the way Lydia turned it during the thing, and I just thought that she did a much better job. So then after that, we wound up getting to, well, that's not who we got to get, but I will say this picture of Susie, no shade, this is the best she's ever looked. The wig, the Rihanna loud arrow wig, I should say. This outfit that she has on was living for it, and even the makeup was beat. She was reminding me of remember Vitamin C that came up with that song, the graduation song. Like she kind of gave me a little bit of that. I just thought that was the prettiest that Susie's ever looked. I always thought that her makeup came across a little too heavy, but she looked good here. So yeah, so then Susie got picked next. She was the next ball to get picked. She picked Joella, and Joella chose Training Season by Dula Peep. So they lip synced to the song. Joella's outfit, child, it was just a chop all around. Like it literally looked cheap as hell. You was giving local drag queen tease with your overall aesthetic and your overall outfit. And so I love the fact that Susie kind of came very demure with it. And she was cute in her performance. So Susie too ended up winning, and Joella lost. So the next one we get to was Lucky Stars, who was the pork chop of the season. And she decided to pick the song. She picked Step by Step by Whitney Houston, which I was like, I wasn't really feeling that remix. But so she wanted to pick a song, as you know, like Bruno had to pick another queen out of the thing. So Acacia Forgot ended up getting picked, and they lip synced to the song. Lucky was cute. I think what made me like the song, even though I didn't particularly care for that remix, like I needed like a Hex Hector remix or a Thunderpuss remix or something, because that remix was not given. I don't know who the remix was done by, but I just did not like it. Now, if it ends up being no, it wasn't Thunderpuss, because Thunderpuss had a signature sound. So I would have known if it was them. But when it came down to it, I will say this: Lucky with the basketball boobs and everything, it was cute. And it was like, it worked for that moment because she was giving Banji Girl with the whole thing. Like, it was giving, like, she was no-ging and shaking the titties. And, the outfit was cute. It was hilarious. But then she tried to do it again in another performance. And I was like, okay, you about to lose this round. That was with the second round. So before I jumped the gun, Acacia was cute in hers, and I did like the idea of her doing the delayed dip. That was hilarious, though, when she was like trying to do like, oh yeah, I'm gonna do this delayed dip, and I'm gonna just drop myself down. So that was funny, but it wasn't enough to keep her saved. So Lucky ended up winning that round. Then we get to our fourth lip sync, where Bruno pulled Arietti's ball, and she chose "Blow Me, One Last Kiss" by Pink. And then the Drag Gods chose Corey as her opponent. Now, what people didn't know is that, you know what? Corey's like, I do Pink all the time when I'm performing live. So she got up there. Thank God she glued that wig down, because that wig did not come off. She was giving hairography. She was giving energy. She was giving passion. She was giving emotion. And I'm sorry, but Corey ate her up. Like, when you look at Arietti is pretty to look at. I love her aesthetic. I love her whole vibe and her energy and how she presents, as she's a pretty queen. But in regards of performance and standing out and being memorable, she gives me nothing. Like, I don't get that passion from her. So I was not surprised that Tori ended up eating her up in that round. And so she lost her third lip sync, because, she's been chopped 3 times on this show. It was like the first time, excuse me, there's been 3 times that she was eliminated from the show. So now Crystal and Lana were basically the queens that were in last place, because after that it was like they had no choice. They was already paired up. So we had Crystal Envy and Lana Jarrett. And so they had to compete against each other. Now the song that they chose, well, I should say Lana chose, was You Make Me Feel Mighty Real by Sylvester. And she said the reason why she picked it, because she said, I know it's Rue's favorite song. And that's what I went to. So she basically was kissing Rue's behind. But look, it worked, because when she got up there, she was selling sex. She was removing her outfits. She started humping all over Crystal. Like, it was just a great. And then she did like the little split and then brought herself up from her core and was holding, like literally standing up on her heels, like halfway on the heel or whatever. So like halfway down, halfway up. I don't know how to describe it, but I'm sure you can probably imagine because you looked at it. So like the details of the overall performance, the way she was whipping her hair like a helicopter. Like, I was just living for Lana's performance, and she stepped it up, because before I used to think like Lana wasn't that girl in regards of the live performance and lip syncing. Like, she was giving me kind of like you was holding back. But in here, maybe I guess y'all would listen to a lot of the critiques all over social media. So maybe that's why y'all changed y'all tune and came to a different conclusion. And now, you know, y'all stepping it up in regards to watching the show, except Joella and Sadness. They still was given the bare minimum. So then, of course, so after all that, now we get to round two, which is Lucky. She chose We Found Love by Rihanna. And that's when the drag gods basically chose Susie Toot as her opponent. And that's when we go back to this picture, because that was what this lip sync was for. I know I jumped the gun with that earlier. So after that performance, it just felt like Lucky was doing the same routine with the basketball titties and all that other stuff. And it just felt, and it was good to see the two Florida girls going up against each other. But I feel like at the end of the day, Lucky didn't deliver. I felt like Susie basically came with her own tricks and was doing stuff different based off the lip sync. It just felt like at one point, Lucky was becoming a one-trick pony, and she ended up getting eliminated. So then after that, Lucky, was sent backstage. The semifinals wrapped up, and then they basically had like a three-way lip sync between Corey, Lydia, and Lana to 360 by Charlie XCX. Now, when that song came on, I was like, okay, I'm loving this performance. It's definitely giving me my life. And so the odds aren't in Corey's favor, but if there's a three-way kiss, she might have a chance. Now, Lydia ditched the scissors and pulled off a reveal because she was it was a play up of her elimination. She pulled out a pair of scissors, and then she was like, no, I'm gonna just, I'm trying to be funny, psych, whatever. Tossed the scissors, ripped off the piece of fabric, did a reveal. The girls were up there serving brat realness, and then Rue decided basically the person that went to the final round was Corey King. Lana and Lydia were eliminated. They head back to the workroom. And so then it's down to the wire before, he called all the queens to basically come back from backstage. They get to sit outside on the side to watch the final lip sync, where you basically had Corey and Susie team up, and they did pate, 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 by Bruno Mars and Rose. So now the queens, with the way Ruth said, she was like, you're gonna lip sync to APT. I'm like, girl, you could have said it pate, pate, but you know her stiff ass. She ain't gonna get up there and have fun with the songs. So it's both queens basically put all the energy that they could muster. Because, after doing all those damn lip syncs and you advancing to so many different rounds, I know you be tired after a while. So that's like 3 different performances you got to give. When you're going up different stages, when you have like the regular round, the semifinals, and then the one who determines who's going to win that $50,000 and crown. She already had hers, which we ain't heard at all this season. So then, Corey had basically showed her fake titties, took off the tearaway bra. Then you had Susie ditching her coat. Rue basically decided who was going to win that, and it turned out to be Susie too. Now, the funny thing was, I didn't watch the episode until yesterday, but I already knew who won the lip sync because, I don't know, I think I was on social media. I think it was on Instagram, and I happened to see Susie was at a watch party, And she was watching herself win and then came out like stomping around and clapping and having a good time. So I'm like, damn, now I know that Susie won the damn lip sync. So I already knew before I even watched the episode that she had won, but I was just like, and to me, I feel like this was her redemption. That in a way, this was Susie 2's redemption, because Susie basically was eliminated from the show, and a lot of people felt the way that, yeah, y'all went and chopped her from the show, but we wanted her to make it to the finals, but it wasn't in the cards, and who knows, maybe we'll see her on All Stars one day. But yeah, she didn't win the challenge. It is what it is. I'm not that mad over the fact that she didn't make it to the Final Four, but at least the good thing about it is she's walking away with 50 grand and a crown. She ate up her sisters in the lip sync. So next week, we actually have the finale, where one queen will basically take home 200K and the crown and scepter and walk away as being the queen of all, of season 17. So I definitely want to hear from y'all. What do you think of this recent episode of the lip sync Lollapalooza SmackDown? She was cute. There were some moments about it, I was like, there was some moments I was like, okay, y'all ate. Like, I was definitely living for the fact that we got a little closure in certain things for television purposes, so that way the fandom could stand down and stop being so damn shady and always willing to go in and let have on people. So I liked all of that. So I definitely want to hear from y'all what you thought of this overall episode of the Drag Race. I almost call it a challenge, child. That's the other MTV show. So yeah, I would love to hear from y'all. So let me know what your thoughts are in the comments down below. He said, this is why I carry soap, toothbrush, and toothpaste, because ain't nobody clocking me for bad breath or hygiene. Oh, please, you need to see me. When I'm going around, like if I'm out in the street, I carry toothpaste on me. I have a toothbrush. I have mouthwash. I carry gum. I have deodorant, especially if I'm going to the gym and stuff. I carry deodorant. I carry all kinds of stuff with me, and especially being out in these streets. Like, I literally walk around like I'm a walking pharmacy, because I got to make sure, like, you ain't going to catch me out here stinking. He said, this episode really showed Rue's favorites. If I didn't get past the first round, I wouldn't come back for All Stars. The overall favoritism and stuff on this show is kind of annoying. They could have done better to the Pink song. It was kind of, yeah, I do agree that it was kind of boring. Maybe they shouldn't have picked that song. Pink got way better songs that they could have picked. I thought Crystal did better than Lana in the Sylvester lip sync, and I thought Lydia won the 360 lip sync. Yeah, like you said, Rose got her face. 360, the 360 lip sync was awkward. I get the producers want to be in touch with trends, but they could have picked Guess or any other Charlie's. Yeah. And look, next week they said the final 2 song is Abracadabra by Lady Gaga. So that's gonna be the big lip sync song. That's why I say everything is leaking. And I already posted on social media the red carpet, well, the finale looks. Remember when Tracy told Tamar that Tamar made it difficult to love her? I feel the same way about yeah, because of what she said in the end, I did laugh. But I agree. At times I do feel like it does come across as too much. Like, she could be a little too arrogant. It's like, okay, girl, pump your brakes. It's kind of like what we were talking about earlier with Charlie XCX and acting like she should headline Coachella. Like, sis, you just started in this whole situation. You're not as big as you think. So I agree. But anyway, so we are officially at the end of today's show. I want to thank you all for tuning in to the latest episode of Chris Avalon Unfiltered. If you have not already, please hit that like button and that subscribe button. Also, smash the notification bell so that way you know when we go live with a brand new episode of Chris Avalon Unfiltered. I will be back on Wednesday, so I won't be on tomorrow. So definitely check me out. I'll be back on with a brand new episode. Hopefully a lot more celebrity news and gossip that we can get in on. I want to thank all of you for kikiing with me in the live chat. I'll also, as I said before, speaking of live chat, once this episode is done, I'll definitely will take the time to put in the timestamps on all the topics that we talked about on this episode. So if you don't want to, go through the banter that we do, you can just follow along with the topics at hand and just click on to exactly where the topics begin and all that good stuff. So love you all for watching. Thank you all for tuning in. Thank you for kikiing with me in this live chat. And until next time, ciao, darlings.